the high on Wednesday of 68. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
On Wall Street, the Dow's up 217 points. NASDAQ is down 61. The S&P is down a point. Partly cloudy, 76 right now in Hartford. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With Aer Lingus and Bradley International Airport, your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Fly non-stop from Hartford to Dublin with great fares available now. And since Dublin is our European hub, make your trip 20 times more fun with connections to over 20 cities across Europe, including London, Paris and Rome. From epic coastlines to city tram lines, you can explore it all. Visit airlingus.com to book your flights today.
Nobody breaks it down.
One minute.
You don't have the respect until you earn it.
Like Bill Belichick.
We have not a coach, but the greatest coach of all time.
And nobody levels up like Inside the NFL.
Only on the CW.
Tonight on the CW.
Inside the NFL has a look ahead to this weekend's biggest games.
And we dive back into some of the things we saw the week before.
Be there for an all-new episode of the show the pros watch.
Time after time for a moment like this.
That's well-executed play.
Join host Ryan Clark.
That's what the NFL is about.
Chris Long.
Give me a defensive game.
Chad Johnson.
They match up extremely well.
And legendary coach Bill Belichick.
It's what we call real football.
This is going to be a wild ride.
Inside the NFL.
In 10.
Episode tonight on the CW.
An all-new episode of Inside the NFL, tonight at 9 on WCCT TV 20, Connecticut's home of the CW.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
What, do you think someone just handed me this job? I've handled the phones, I've juggled the bimbos, I've put up with the tyrants, the yellers, the screamers. I've done more than you can even imagine in that small mind of yours. I paid my dues. See, that's the trouble with your MTV microwave dinner generation. You all want it now. You think you deserve it just because you want it? It doesn't work like that. You have to earn it. You have to take it. You have to make it yours. But first, you need to decide what it is you really want.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people.
Down.
No, you're gonna hear about it.
Yeah! You think that I forgot that it's Friday? I know that it's Friday. I know it's the end of the week. But it's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC this September the 27th, 2024. Taking your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC for the airing of grievances. Make sure you're a part of today's program. Of course, then we've got to do it all over again. Plenty of news and plenty of views. All the news that's fit to spit. I am lit up today because it's Friday, and I treat it like it's a Monday. But I got a couple of things to get into today. I got to talk about Bibi Netanyahu's speech today. Applaud to that man. Applaud. The great Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't care what you think of him. It's a great man fighting for his people. Doesn't care about what you think. Doesn't care if you don't show up at the speech. Doesn't care if it's an empty room. I cherish that man Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what many people are talking about on television. We got to get into Alex Wagner. And, everyone's talking about that little thing where she's talking to union workers. Now, I want to play the audio that she plays outside of that to give you sort of an understanding of where these people are. They really, really do think highly of themselves. We'll break that down. But before we get into that, folks, not that I need to keep saying this. I should just sit idly by, wait for all of it to be over, and then someone write an article about it a year later and then say, see, I told you so. But I can't. I can't let it slide. I can't. I don't know why. But this one's really, really got me. It's got its claws in me. And it's the fact that people actually believe that the Kamala Harris campaign is a real campaign. That there are people, the powers that be, as it were, who really are putting all of their best foot forward to get this woman elected. There's no way. And I've got a couple of reasons why. And I've thrown a bunch at you, aside from the fact that Kamala Harris is a chest slapper, a complete denunt. I'll explain to you what the chest slapper is another time, but that's the term we call for them. Some of you know what that term means. But Kamala Harris is a denunt. Everyone knows it, even her allies in the news media, even those who appear right on this very network, giving that woman more latitude than any human being would be allowed. They try very hard because they don't want to sound racist or bigoted. They try really, really hard. And I get it. Hold the phones for a little bit, guys. Hold the phones. You got a second here. You know how we do things. Listen very closely. Let me prove to you that no one, and I mean no one, is serious about the Kamala Harris campaign. Not just MAGA Republicans, not just Republicans, not even independents and undecided. We're talking about the hardcore left that supports Kamala. Let me tell you why I know. Let me ask you a few questions. Ladies and gentlemen, where is George Clooney on the stump? Why isn't he on stage with her? Instead of doing interviews like Jimmy Kimmel Live. George Clooney is the man who got Joe Biden to step aside, right? Remember his op-ed that in the New York Times that pretty much got the whole thing started? George Clooney is the man right now. He's being applauded, celebrated. Many people are suggesting he should get into politics himself. Why isn't he on the trail? I don't see him. Right here in the very state, Hillary Clinton held some event. I don't know what it was, a fundraiser. I don't know what it was. Right here, hosted by the very Senator Chris Murphy. Chris Jog Around the State Murphy. Chris Media Tramp Murphy. Where is Hillary and Bill on the stump with Kamala? Nowhere to be found. Wait, folks, I'll go one step further. Oprah Winfrey, the Oprah Winfrey, had an event where she hosted Kamala Harris, and the biggest names in Hollywood appeared on Zoom. They didn't even bother to show up. They didn't even bother to show up in physical form. They phoned it in. Oh, we just love Kamala. She's the best. Sorry, I couldn't be there. I'm not working on a film or anything, but my garden. I must take care of my garden. Kamala, we love you. Is this thing still on? Someone, cut this thing off. They didn't bother to show up. Even Chris Rock, who's got nothing to do, called in on Zoom. And then, folks, if I may ask, the most important surrogates for Kamala Harris, the big dog, or the big dogs themselves. If there's anyone who should be dragging Kamala Harris over the finish line, these two big dogs should be there. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, where in God's name is Barack and Michelle? Freudian slip, I apologize. Where are the Obamas? Is Sasha busy? How about Melania? Not Melania, no, sorry, Malia. I'm already getting them confused. Where are they? There's not one Obama, a cousin, a distant relative. Where are they? Why aren't they on the stump? Are they waiting to the last minute? It's less than 40 days. Early voting has already begun. She's dying in Arizona and in Pennsylvania. They all know what the polling data is, and no one's showing up? Come on. The people, let's be honest. The names that support Kamala Harris are bigger than Kamala Harris, and they're not showing up. Kamala brought out Megan Thee Stallion. It was rumored that Beyonce would show up at the Democratic National Convention and didn't show and hasn't been seen since. Maybe it's the Diddy scandal. I don't know. But we haven't seen her. Taylor Swift endorsed her on Instagram or Twitter or Zoom. I don't know what she introduced her, but I haven't seen Taylor Swift on the stump. So I've got to ask the question, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. This isn't a real campaign, folks. This is an also-ran. Kamala Harris is a seat filler. She's like that standby who fills up the seat in the Oscars when the big star has to go use the bathroom so the seats don't look empty. That's what she is. Kamala Harris's political career is going to be over after this. No one's going to care what she runs for after this. She went for the big thing, and now she'll finish. She's like the best supporting actress at the Oscars. No one ever hears from her afterwards. She never does another thing that's worth mentioning. Do you remember that? Can you name best supporting actresses who just disappeared? They all do, with the exception of, I think, Nicole Kidman. But best supporting actresses, you never hear from them again. Marcia Gay Harden, Whoopi Goldberg, never had another hit after. Look down the list. I'm telling the truth. As soon as you get that nomination, gone. Kamala Harris's whole campaign is a joke. And I'll be honest, I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm sick and tired of pretending. Because I feel like I'm joining in on the nonsense. While the rest of you are trying to convince me, no, it's real, Reese, it's real. They're serious about this. Now, there are some people out there who are serious, a few. A lot of them are just as foolish. But remember, this is an opportunity to deal with Trump, get him out of office. They don't have to worry about MAGA Republicans anymore. And then they'll focus their ire on someone else. But they're turning this into something bigger than it is. But I don't know. You guys don't want to believe me. That's fine. You don't have to. But you still got to answer the questions. Obama, Michelle, Bill, Hillary, George Clooney, Beyonce, Jay-Z, big stars. Where are they? No one. Not even showing up at rallies. Even people who are being busted. I just heard the other day that the Kamala Harris campaign put out a video with a man and woman who were Trump supporters who switched to the other side, and some really keen gumshoes found out that the married couple were actors who have been donating to the Democrat Party since as far back as 2016. Democrat actors. When it's so bad, you've got to hire actors. When it's so bad, you've got to bust people into your rallies. And everything about your campaign is fake. It is fake. We're being duped. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You're being duped. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, folks. Kamala is Shamala. It's a sham. Now we'll take a call. My good friend Matt's in Bristol. How are you doing, sir? Maybe I caught rolling off guard. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Didn't catch me off guard.
Oh, okay. Maybe Matt's not there. He's always gone. he goes and he does something else. Call me back, Matt. Tony's in Southington. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing great, Reese. How are
Tony,
you, buddy?
I can't hear you. Say again. I'm sorry.
All right. How you doing? Yeah, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing great.
I'm doing great, too. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Go for it.
Good, pal. Yeah, let me let you know. I want to start off by saying you have awesome charisma and excellent intelligence, bro. Don't change a thing. I want you to become big time. You need to become big time and on Sirius XM so you can defeat Howard Stern because that dude's a loser.
Oh, wow.
All right?
Jeez.
And, yeah, dude, I don't care. I'm just telling you like it is. It's the way I honestly feel because you bring sincerity and facts to the table. I want to start by quickly saying my wife was a Democrat, liberal. I converted her to conservative, and she's a Waterbury school teacher. Imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats on you.
Yeah.
Listen, it cannot go unnoticed that you converted a woman from a Democrat to a Republican. That's a hard. Sometimes it's hard to convince a woman to change diets. So I give it.
Right. And then my main point for calling is with critical race theory, which you were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a joke, man. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. I'm a white person. I got a best friend who happens to be black. His name's Malcolm Hunter, the greatest buddy I ever met as a coworker.
Okay.
And I want to throw it out there. That I see him as a human being, bro. We have the same brain, same body parts, same, biological makeup. I don't even label Hispanics and blacks as minorities. And to me, this is pretty upsetting and demoralizing. This crap's got to stop, man. We're 2024 now, dude. This stuff has got to stop. And we don't need to be fear-mongering people into believing that there's a real issue or problem here.
Tony, do you know why it's used? Do you want to, before you make your last point, do you know why this tactic is used? I said this in a video maybe about 6 years ago, and I think that it holds true today, and it always will. The reason why racial division is used is for three reasons. And it is for people to get moral high ground, financial benefit, and political benefit. Those are the only three reasons they're ever used. So, when you hear people talk about race in a way that's used as division or in order to gain some sort of leverage on someone, it is always used for those three reasons. Because no one, and I promise you, no one is that virtuous. And if they were, they wouldn't use the most innate thing in the world as a reason for division. Because again, it's suggesting that people are defined by the color of their skin. It's to say that their brain operates based upon the lack thereof or the amount of melanin that's in their skin, right? Their value is based on those things. That's why I know that when they're talking about it and they're trying to be so concerned about that person based upon race, I know that it's only done to get either that moral advantage, that financial advantage, or to get their political advantage.
Absolutely. The key word here is sincere. We need to stop talking about racism because everything about life is based on individual accountability. There's famous black people that have millions of dollars, more than I'll ever have in my lifetime, and I'm happy for them. But I'm comfortable being the middle class kind of guru. I'm white, but you know what? I treat everybody as individuals. The opportunities are out there. It's not our fault if people don't take advantage of what's given to them, as an American. It's just this stuff's got to stop, dude. It's not the 60s no more.
You would think it was, asking some of these people. Tony, thank you so much for the call, man. I appreciate you, sir. And tell Malcolm we said what's up. We're going to take a break in a minute. We've got 1 minute before I get back to the call. So, Matt, figure it out, buddy. And we'll get to Georgia St. Louis when we get back as well. So, I just wanted to get that out there, folks. Again, liberals, explain it to me. And please explain to me why these key people who are vouching for Kamala Harris are not out on the stump. It's less than 40 days. I mean, it's the most important election of our lifetime, right? These people should be out there. Also, I think I'm going to start a charity. And now remember, this charity works only if you participate. Do you have, or would you like to, give bath tissue or toilet paper to a bunch of people in need? Well, our new charity is going to be called Tissues for Tim. I understand there was a little bit of crying going on earlier on the show. So we're going to do something, and we're going to do something about it. We can't have those liberal tears just wasted all over the place. So we're going to get Tissue for Tim, our new charity. We're going to get a P.O. box here in Hartford, Connecticut, so that you can send your favorite bath tissue for Tissues for Tim. We'll talk about it more when we get back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Explore McLean's award-winning assistant.
Wow.
Primary care. Discover how the right care at the right time can make all the difference in the world for your loved one. Enjoy peace of mind knowing your mom and dad are safe, secure, and receiving the absolute best care available. Experience the McLean difference. Call today to learn more or tour one of our few remaining assisted living residences. Live healthier, live happier, live better. Only at McLean. For more information, visit exploremclean.org.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom with Eric Hogarth tomorrow morning at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Don Cusson here. Fall is a great time to get behind the wheel and head out for some seasonal driving. With leaves on the road and rain or snow falling, driving can be hazardous. Is your car ready? Cusson Auto features
Be right back.
Continental tires.
You got
helping to ensure a comfortable and safe driving experience, no matter the season. Let Cusson Auto handle your next oil change, knowing our team will inspect your vehicle for all your service needs. After all, we'll do it right or not at all. Call 860-289-2389 or visit CussonAutomotive.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting.
Oh, he's not done being heated, Michael B. I'm not even done yet. And I'm going to do it as nicely as possible.
6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
And now, a WTIC news update.
76 degrees at 3:30. I'm John Silva. Wringing out, mopping up, and picking up the pieces in Florida after Hurricane Helene slammed ashore as a Category 4 storm. It's tropical storm now, but that's not stopping it from dumping copious amounts of rain on Georgia, the Carolinas, and the Tennessee Valley this weekend. At least 24 deaths have been reported thus far. National Guard here in Connecticut is taking part in relief efforts in the storm zone. A Chinook helicopter and a 5-member crew with the Guard's 169th Aviation Regiment departed Windsor Locks this morning en route to North Carolina. Arrest has been made in a number of swatting and threatening incidents. Vernon police say the 17-year-old was part of a conspiracy to target schools and houses of worship. The year-long investigation was a joint op between several local police agencies and the FBI. Connecticut's minimum wage will go up effective January 1st, keeping in line with adjusting to federal employee cost index. And legislation passed in 2019, the wage will increase from the current $15.69 an hour to $16.35 an hour. Senator Blumenthal wants accountability related to the Boar's Head listeria outbreak that's killed 10 people and hospitalized 59 others. He says criminal charges should be considered. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has pleaded not guilty to federal bribery charges and other counts in a case that has enveloped the nation's biggest city after months of investigations. Calls now mounting for Adams to step down. WTIC News Time, 3:31. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of today, it'll be quite pleasant with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 76, and partly cloudy and mild tonight, the low down to 61. A gorgeous early fall weekend ahead. Saturday, variably cloudy, pleasant, that high of 74. A light breeze out of the east-northeast. A nice day Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 70. And Monday, pleasant with a mix of clouds and sun to kick off the week. Warmer, the high up to 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Half hour before the close, the Dow's up 173. NASDAQ's down 73 points, and the S&P's down 4. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, here are some statistics about erectile dysfunction. First, half of men over age 50 have it, with even more of us affected as we get into our 60s and beyond. ED can also impact younger men, even in their 30s, which makes it one of the most pervasive conditions in medicine. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and statistics are one thing, but it's the emotional toll on relationships and the impacts on a man's confidence and self-esteem that are the true tragedies of erectile dysfunction. This is why you need to get treated for your ED. But where you get treated is just as important as getting treated, because who you trust for your health care is critical. At Northeast Men's Health, men's sexual health is our focus. Our providers are experts in treating ED, and we offer the complete range of treatment options with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can get your sex life back. So call us. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 customers would recommend AAA insurance to a friend? 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 people don't even like Philly cheesesteaks. More loved than the most loved sandwich in the city of brotherly love? Does that make us siblings? Well, we do treat our customers like family. Legendary service and superior coverage from AAA Insurance. Something 9 out of 10 people would recommend. Find out why at AAA.com/insurance and get a quote. Based on a 2023 customer survey. Insurance provided by CSAA Insurance Exchange.
With vacations over and busy schedules back, don't forget your dental care. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester is open 7 days a week with late hours to fit your busy routine. Call 860-730-6030 or visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions.
Lori, I have to get Tom Cruise's Magnolia monologue because it's really, really good. But that wasn't him.
Role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a realtor. Realtors are members of
My
the
volume's
National
still good right there?
Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly present you
All right, good.
and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two have geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
And we're back with the Busta Rhymes, the mighty infamous, right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. The airing of grievances Friday, so if you got one, get on the phones, 860-522-WTIC. I can't wait to hear what your grievance is today because you had a whole week to gather them. I've got a few that I'm going to do, but this isn't even a grievance. I'm going to take my grievance and I'm going to do something positive with it, ladies and gentlemen. And my grievance is people who, for some odd reason, have a problem with people expressing opinions. That seems to be the theme of this week. If I'm going to break it down, I got a problem with people who have a problem with other people expressing their opinions or having conversations. But I am going to do something positive with it today. I'm going to air my grievance and then utilize the power of this microphone to do something positive. Guess what? There are people out there who need. So I've invented none other than Tissue for Tim. Tissues for Tim. There's a lot of belly aching out there. You know who you are. So I want to create a charity called Tissues for Tim. And guess what, folks? You can be a part of it. Do you have some tissue sitting around the house? You know what? Maybe you've got an extra, 4-roll, 6-roll. I want you to send it out there and give it to someone in need because no one should be without tissue, especially when they need it. So the kind folks over at the Friendly Hands Food Bank, Karen Thomas, my good friend, I love them. And please give them a round of applause. Feeding the hungry in Connecticut and abroad. I just asked them, do you guys need tissue? She said, absolutely. So, Tissue for Tim was born. If you'd like to send some tissues for Tim, send them to 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Again, 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut, zip code 06790. Address it to the Friendly Hands Food Bank and just sign on it. This is Tissues for Tim. And Tim, guess what, folks? Tim, all you do is have to go down there and you can pick up some tissue for free. There's no way and no need for those tears to stain your beautiful clothing. Now there's an organization that can help you and provide you with tissue. I'm trying to do what's right, folks. I'm trying to give, and give. That's what this platform is for. Do something good. Pass it on. Pay it forward. And I'm doing it with tissue. Again, help us out. Tissues for Tim at 50 King Street, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. We'll put a link up on the website, or we'll put something on the website so you too can contribute. With that, we'll go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Now we've got Matt in Bristol. How you doing, Matt?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
How are you
doing?
I can hear the smile on your face.
Yeah, bro. It's like a Cheshire cat, my friend. I won't even go into my call with Tom because I'm pretty sure you heard it.
I heard about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to go right into my grievance.
Okay.
You want my grievance for today?
Yes,
and
sir.
It's not you today.
Thank God.
Yeah. So guys riding bicycles down the street in full spandex and a pointy helmet and shaved legs. You're not in the Tour de France, okay? You're not competing against Lance Armstrong. Stop it already. A pair of shorts and a T-shirt is plenty good to ride your bicycle.
Look, I'm going to sound pretty horrible. Listen to me. You're right in my lane on this one, Matt. Let me hear me out. So I have a term for them, right? Because when I go open up the store on Saturday, there is a team. And when I mean a team, it looks like Tour de France is coming down my block. Every time at 9 o'clock on Saturday, it is at least 50 to 100 of them all bunched together coming down. And I refer to them as the Lance Armstrongs, just as you did. That's why I was like, oh, here come the Lance Armstrongs. And my wife goes, what? And I go, over there. She goes, oh. So now everyone I meet, and if they're with me and they see them, they go, oh, be careful, Lance Armstrongs. And I go, okay, we got to slow down. So, yeah, I get you. It's not so much that they're riding their bikes, and that's great. But a lot of those guys are pretty obnoxious. They just are. I'm sorry if you're one of those people who ride the bikes with a big team. You got to understand our perspective. We look at you guys and just go, all right, you guys are a little too serious. You're just a little too serious. It's bike riding.
Yeah, and how much air resistance are you really going to get from shaving your legs? I mean, come on.
I know some people who are really serious about it, though, but I'll admit, and they spend a fortune. Those bikes are not cheap, Matt. Those bikes are pretty expensive. Every time I hear a price of those bikes, I go, that's a used car. What are you talking? You actually didn't buy a used car to go on a bike? And they do.
Yes, they know that bicycles don't have motors, right? Yeah. You can go faster on a motor than you can pedaling.
I know,
right?
I listen, I'm in a lot of ways I agree with you, but I know that a lot of them listen to this show. I'm not trying to disparage you if you're not one of these guys, but you know who you are if you hear me and you guys are a little bit over the top, especially when you look too serious, like really, really too serious, like everything matches, the bike matches the shorts, matches the shirt, and you've got sponsors on. Do you really have a sponsor?
Yeah, well, I keep wanting people to call up and hate on me. So here's my thing. If you have a pointy helmet, you're an idiot, okay? So call up and hate on me, please.
Yeah, that's fine. They probably will. I know there's probably a bike rider out there who's going, hey, I don't like being slighted. You have your opportunity, sir. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you. George is in St. Louis. How you doing, George?
Hi, Reese. I got a grievance.
Go for it.
Journalism is dead.
Yeah.
And I know when it died in 1979, 3 Mile Island.
Oh.
The operators were asleep at the switch at 4 a.m.
Right.
And by the way, at 4 a.m., if you have to stay awake, and by the way, they dimmed the lights in the control room then.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to sit on a tack to stay awake, you should sit on a tack because you're running a $1 billion nuclear reactor. So anyway, they exposed the core.
Yeah.
And it exploded. This is Unit 2 was 6 months old. 6 months old. And anyway, Jimmy Carter came in, and the media they supported the fact that there was no problem, that everything was safe.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Now, as it turned out, the fish were dying, and they were floating on the Susquehanna River.
Mm-hmm.
Birds were dying, and they were dropping from the sky, and people had a metallic taste in their throats and skin irritation.
But hear me out. What did media do that was so wrong? Not report on it or over-exaggerate?
Yeah, they supported the government's view that everything was correct. Everything was fine, that everything was safe. And as we all know, years later, people came down with thyroid cancer, ovarian cancer, and hundreds of people were, and the abortionists would like this. Hundreds of people were sterilized from that radiation leak.
I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah, now here's, the journalists could have gone out and rented, radiation detectors and check to see what the levels of radiation were. They didn't. They didn't do the journalism. They didn't do the hard work. It turns out radiation was 1,000 times above normal for that area.
But George, don't you think that's part of the reason why with 3 Mile Island, and of course clearly the horrible job that journalists did, that's part of the reason why Connecticut to this day is not interested in nuclear power here in the state? It's because of what happened there?
Well, if it's done right, there's no problem.
Of course.
But even today, the journalists, all they do is, the state-supported media, even today, all they do is pass on the lies, the government hands down. They're not anything more than monkeys with microphones.
They are. Thank you, George. Much appreciated. White Mike is in Florida. How are you, sir?
Hey, man. So,
now give us a quick update on the storm. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm far enough inland that I didn't have any storm surge. We had some pretty good wind, a couple trees down, lost power for about 10 hours. That everything's fine.
Okay.
So thanks for the concern.
Of course,
I was debating during my wait time what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Whether it was Harris or critical race theory or race. No. I want to address the guy who was the caller before the last one.
Matt. Matt in Bristol about the Lance Armstrongs?
The crotchety old fart who was whining about bicyclists.
I'm assuming you are a bicyclist.
If you see someone who's a runner, a jogger,
right,
who runs 10Ks, and he wears the appropriate clothing for his activity,
right,
no one says, "Hey, you're not Alberto Salazar." If someone is in a basketball league and shows up wearing a Michael Jordan jersey, no one says, "Oh, you can wear a T-shirt. You're not Michael Jordan."
No, right? I'm not saying that. First of all,
I don't know. You're not. He is.
We definitely clown people that do that.
In team kit, it's stupid.
What's that? I'm sorry.
The reason people wear bicycle clothing and not a T-shirt, like this old fool said, is because bicycle clothing wicks away sweat.
Oh, really?
You don't want to ride in a cotton T-shirt because you'll get cold.
Well, that's true.
It's a technical fabric, and you wear the shorts so you don't chafe. And there are pads called a chamois in the shorts to protect you from getting saddle sores. So, yes, there's a purpose behind it. So, no, I don't care if this old dork with his Walmart Huffy rides in gym shorts and a T-shirt.
Why do you call him a Walmart in this Walmart Huffy?
Yes, in his Walmart Huffy. And, yes, my bicycle was expensive. But my bicycle was handmade by craftsmen.
Oh, here he goes. I knew it. I knew you were one of those guys. So yours was handmade by craftsmen. Tell me how much you spent on it, Mike, because I know you spent a lot.
About 15 years ago, it was made by a company called Gunner, which was owned by the grandson of Ignat Schwinn, or the great-grandson of Schwinn.
Goodness gracious.
It's hand-welded American-made steel with a handmade British leather saddle. I have handmade British canvas bags. Japanese handlebar that's handmade by Japanese craftsmen. I probably have $3,000 into it.
Of course you do.
It's a work of art.
I'm sure it is, Mike. He knew and I knew that someone who was an enthusiast was going to call, and here you are. Much appreciated.
No one would give anybody crap about wearing Tiger Woods Nike gear to play golf. Every
time I put on golf gear, somebody calls me Tiger Woods. They do it every time.
So So, yeah, that's my gripe.
I got you, and I appreciate it. That's actually a pretty good one. We deserved a little clap back. I appreciate it. Let's take a break. We got to get into more news and more views when we return. Plus, your airing of grievances on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Don't just live with foot pain. Find the Good
Off
Feet
to a
store
good
nearest
start.
you at goodfeet.com.
Yep.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moment
to Flight 101.
to annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
I'm Jennifer Osborne, General Manager at Saxon Engineering.
As an assembler, distributor, and welder of hoses, fittings, and pneumatic and lubrication components for industry, Faxon depends on their computer network. Jennifer explains why Tab Computer Systems was tasked with maintaining that network.
We were looking for a company that could better support us before we had an emergency.
And if an emergency happened,
You're looking at the person who would put her IT hat on, but I have no IT experience, so we really needed somebody else to take on the role for us.
Tab is there when Jennifer needs them.
When we have an emergency and I'm picking up that phone, we're getting a call back super quick.
Summing up her experience with Tab,
Their attention to customer and the customer needs has been wonderful for us.
making a change like Jennifer, call Tab today. 1-888-TAB-4-HELP. 1-888-TAB, the numeral 4, H-E-L-P. Or visit tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
This is a commercial. California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
And 10 coming right in.
Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Oh, you're going to hear about it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Chat room going off. Dan says any decent bike from a bike shop, not a Walmart special, is around $1,000 these days. Yeah, I know. That's the reason I think about a bike all the time. And I say to myself, should I buy a bike? Nope, I won't. I'm not riding a bike again. I'm just not doing it. Diane, Mama D, as we call her, she says, my grievance is that the grievances so far have been whack. So she wants better grievances. So if you got them, give us a call. Let me take Ron in East Windsor before we take a break. How we doing, Ron?
Good afternoon, Reese. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So my grievance today is with liberal women.
Ooh.
If I hear one more time or see it on social media, even my friends post, I am voting to save women's rights, I am going to lose it. And then I show them 150 Dems voted last week not to deport any illegals after a sex crime. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
They 150. They're not even here legally to begin with. but now we're not going to deport them after a sex crime. And 0 Dems voted to keep men out of women's sports. And then I show them this.
This is a perfect call for this reason, Ron.
This is why I drink.
Ron,
This is why I drink.
Ron, don't drink. Listen, there's an important point, and it's so great that you brought this point up. Let me actually sort of piggyback on your point. This is Bill Malugin of Fox News today talking about exactly as you talked about illegals in the country and women talking about their rights being affected by Donald Trump's election. Listen to this.
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered deported from the country by a judge but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime.
11,000 or 13,000 of them for assaults, some 15,000 of them of sexual assaults convicted in the country as we speak.
It makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't.
I don't know where their head is. I don't know what they're thinking. They're so brainwashed by liberal media. And what the crime is what mainstream media doesn't talk about.
Yeah, you're right.
You go on Channel 8?
Yeah, you don't see it anywhere. And in fact, that it's happening in the state. They're ignoring it. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much because I've been holding that that audio for the longest. So I'm ready to go with it now. Thank you for bringing it up. Let's get our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. And if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, you're going to see a crash right near the convention center. Southbound 91 between 29A and exit 27. The right lane is blocked there. So you are looking at delays kicking in now from 35 down to the accident scene. So very heavy traffic there. If you're traveling on the northbound side of 91, look for slow traffic now from 20 up to 22 in Cromwell. And the Route 9 interchange after that, slow traffic 24 up to 25, 26 after that. You're moving well until you get up in Windsor, and you're slowing again 35 to 36. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound delays from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge with 84 West and East Hartford. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound delays approaching 17 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 slowing 26 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Newtown, you got delays from 10 up to exit 11. Northbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, look for slow traffic now as you move up on exit 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound Parkway slowing 60 into the West Rock, and 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
John Legend here. How do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date with a COVID shot this season?
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Ask your healthcare provider and book at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of today, it'll be quite pleasant with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 76, and partly cloudy and mild tonight, the low down to 61. A gorgeous early fall weekend ahead. Saturday, variably cloudy, pleasant, that high of 74. A light breeze out of the east-northeast. A nice day Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 70. And Monday, pleasant with a mix of clouds and sun to kick off the week. Warmer, the high up to 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 76 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Hurricane Helene came ashore in Florida, but it has also left devastation in Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee.
There have been hundreds of high water rescues in the mountains of North Georgia, Carolinas, East Tennessee, and even into southwestern Virginia.
CBS's Jim Krasula in Greensboro, North Carolina. More than 50 people were trapped on the roof of a hospital awaiting rescue near Memphis. Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina.
Helene is causing life-threatening flash flooding, numerous landslides, and downed trees, causing power outages.
The death toll now from the storm at 31. Stanford-based AmeriCares is deploying a response team to Florida. Director of Emergency Response Mariel Fontaine says they'll have personnel on the ground to help restore access to critical health services and relief supplies.
That a lot of the clinics that we work with are situated themselves in low-income, high-risk areas, and so the clinics will have sustained damage. Their staff may have sustained damage to their own homes, so reopening might be quite difficult.
This week, federal health officials confirmed a 10th death related to a listeria outbreak in Boar's Head deli meats. The outbreak is connected to a Virginia production plant, which has now been shut down by the company. Senator Richard Blumenthal is calling for the prosecution of those responsible, saying sanitation practices at the plant fell well short of federal guidelines.
These kinds of unsanitary and unsafe conditions were the seeming result of purposeful violations found repeatedly by the USDA inspectors and reported to Boar's Head.
Last year, an internal whistleblower reported substandard conditions to the company and was allegedly fired in retaliation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cut his visit to the U.S. short today after a massive Israeli bombing in Beirut. Military says it was targeting Hezbollah leadership. Before his departure, Netanyahu spoke before the United Nations.
Our enemies seek not only to destroy us, they seek to destroy our common civilization and return all of us to a dark age of tyranny and terror.
That bombing was carried out at the central headquarters of Hezbollah.
Israel is investigating if the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, was killed in an airstrike in Beirut. The Israeli army said the headquarters was intentionally built on the residential buildings in the heart of the neighborhood of Dahya, a Hezbollah stronghold. Israel has ramped up its attacks against Hezbollah in recent weeks, with Prime Minister Netanyahu saying he will do everything to stop the group from attacking Israel with missiles and drones. Yotam Confino for CBS News in Tel Aviv.
2 climate change activists have been sentenced for damaging a masterpiece in the art world. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez is that.
2 climate activists who threw cans of Heinz tomato soup at Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers at London's National Gallery 2 years ago have been convicted at trial on criminal charges and jailed. The frame around the masterpiece was damaged. The painting was not harmed and later put back on display. One defendant has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. The other to 20 months. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow up 137 points, NASDAQ down 70, S&P down 7 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra. Director Carolyn Kwan for the opening concert of the HSO season. Prokofiev 5 and Peter, September 27th through the 29th. Gather with friends and family and share in the excitement of musical storytelling with Prokofiev's beloved Peter and the Wolf, with narration by June Archer. We celebrate longtime HSO violinist Yaroslav Lis and Leonid Segal on their milestone years with the orchestra. To reserve your seats today, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
The law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott understands that divorce can be intimidating, and the decisions you make today will impact your life forever. Divorce is complicated. There's a lot at stake when considering your future. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of family attorneys have over 100 years of combined experience and realize that every family law case is different. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer, you get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Katie Bissonette is responsible for the content of this ad.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
And we are back, folks. It is an airing of grievance Friday, which means it's the end of the week, and you know that I hate the end of the week. But you can still check out Reese on the Radio on Sundays right here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Of course, that show, yes, it is taped, but I put a lot of work into it. My wife knows that I put a lot of work into it. But if you'd like to, please check out that programming here on WTIC so you get some Reese on the Radio on Sunday before the Monday show, of course. And also go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, ReeseOnTheRadio.com for the stupidest thing that I've read today. Stupidest thing I read today. I owe you two, so I gave you two. There is some polling data that suggested Kamala Harris is beating Donald Trump in Nevada. Nevada, folks. Yes, serious. Nevada? Is anyone really checking the polling data there? I doubt it. But this one has got to be the stupidest thing that I read today. And that, do you remember when CNN wanted to do a CNN Plus, a pay-per-view version of CNN? You know, because, you know, in essence, you would subscribe to watch CNN programming that you didn't watch for free. Well, some bonehead over at CNN has decided that they're going to put, wait for it, a paywall on some of CNN's online stuff at CNN.com. A paywall. Hey, sick and tired of getting horrible news for free? Well, now you can pay for it. Go to CNN.com. You got to be kidding me. A paywall at CNN. Our content is so garbage, you'll pay for it. I don't know if anybody, do you pay for recyclables? Like, do you go down to the junkyard and go, yeah, you know what? I want that crap. Well, go to CNN.com because they're going to charge you for their horrible reporting that they often have to recant. Let's get into BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Again, you don't have to pay to get Mark Christopher's traffic report.
No, I'm absolutely free. And
no paywall.
I don't even think I'm worth being free. That's you know.
That may be too hefty, right?
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, look for delays southbound 91 from exit 37 down to basically between 29A and 27. The two right lanes are blocked with an accident there. So that's the on-ramp from the Whitehead-Conlin Highway to 91 southbound. There's an accident there, so stay left if you're coming through downtown. Northbound side of 91, you've got delays now as you move between 20 and 21 in Cromwell. Another bump 24 up to 25, 26 in Weathersfield. After that, you're moving well into Windsor. Westbound side of 84, slowing by 57. Again, you got delays 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you got slow traffic 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 through 84, looking good east of the river. 2 westbound, moving well from exit 4 to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound, Middletown slowing from the Aragoni Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. That is 84 eastbound in Southbury, delays just after 16 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Westbound 84 is tied up in Cheshire, 26 into the Mixmaster. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays 9 to 11. Southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic from 60 into the West Rock. 95 northbound slowing, 15 northbound slowing, approaching 59 into the West Rock, and 95 southbound delays 46 to 44. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at wadvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
It's been a beautiful day. It'll be a great evening. And boy, do we have a lovely looking weekend ahead of us. So tonight, partly cloudy. It'll be mild, the low down to 61. Variably cloudy Saturday. The warmer of the 2 weekend days, very pleasant with a high of 74, a nice breeze out of the east-northeast. Sunday, another nice day with a mix of sun and clouds, be a little cooler with the high of 70, a light breeze out of the east on Sunday. Monday, we're going to warm it back up to kick off the new week. Pleasant day with a mix of clouds and sun, the high up to 77. Tuesday, cloudy, not as warm with a bit of rain. Make sure you take your umbrella, the high 69, and keep it handy for Wednesday with more rain and drizzle, the high of 68. Currently, It is 73 in Danbury. It's 69 in New London and 76 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Enjoy connections to over 20 cities across Europe when you fly non-stop to Dublin from Hartford with Aer Lingus. Great fares from Bradley International Airport, now available on airlingus.com.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom with Eric Hogarth tomorrow morning at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
I'm Listening on WTIC News Talk 1080 was sponsored by Amplify.
A successful retirement doesn't just happen. It requires a plan that is custom built to suit everyone's individual financial situation. Every Saturday at 3, we share vital information on how to build and live a successful retirement. It's On the Money with Jay Dorso. Retirement strategies on building income and proper protection from the pitfalls and the latest news in the retirement universe. On the Money with Jay Dorso, 3 p.m. this Saturday on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Space may be the final, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine.
All right, here we go.
Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
We are back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC, the airing of grievance Friday. To your phone calls in a second, but I got to read a couple of things on here. Matt in Bristol responding to White Mike on his grievance to his grievance. He said, I wanted hate calls. This is what Matt in Bristol says. I wanted hate calls, but White Mike hating on me, that's an honor. He's my favorite caller. So as David Lee Roth used to say, it was like a cold sore on a supermodel. I totally appreciate you giving him props. So there you go, Mike. He loved the hate. As I used to say, I await the hate. Julie B. in Boston has got one as well. Her grievance. And this one, Julie, I can answer the reason why this is happening, but this is a great grievance. She says, can men stay out of the stores unless it's Home Depot or Lowe's? There is nothing more annoying than when I'm in Walmart. I know exactly what I want and what I need and exactly where to go and try to run around the store and grab my stuff as quick as possible. And there are men who come into the store because their wives obviously force them, and they're wandering around locking up the aisles and staring at their phones. If you don't have anything to buy and you don't have any reason to be there, stay in the car or don't come to the store. I'm just trying to go in and grab my stuff and leave. You have to understand, I don't like having to go, but my wife won't go without me. And I've got to go in the store with her. I would love to stay in the car. That's what my pop did. He would send my grandmother out into the store, and he would sit in the car. It didn't matter what the temperature was. He would never turn on the air conditioner. He would just roll down the windows in 90-degree heat, and we had to sit there and bake but he never walked in. I don't think my grandfather ever saw the inside of a supermarket. He couldn't tell you where to find stuff or what the price of anything was. But I feel you. That's old school, so I appreciate it. To the phones we go. Fred is in Middletown. How are you, Fred?
Hey, I'm good. So I'm calling in to support the bicyclists, baby. Basically.
This is turning into a thing.
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, recently, a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to some musicians, older guys, and thinking how much work music is and how you really have to have something going on.
Sure.
To, like, play a couple dozen songs from the last 4 or 5 decades. And then they stopped and they were chatting, and one of them was airing a grievance about a gaggle of maybe 30 cyclists from a local place here.
Oh, okay.
And I guess he contested with them in the crosswalk, and he was like,
"Really?
I got the right of way." And they were like, didn't appreciate it. I don't know if they went around him. I didn't get the exact details. But so anyway, I guess he called someone up to complain and got hung up on. And I'm thinking bicycling is just such a cool thing. It is the most efficient way for a human being to travel. You got to get the steel out of the ground and all that. But once you've done that, it's free. It's free energy. I feel like I'm cheating gravity when I sit on my bike.
Really? Okay, I'm assuming, Fred, you're an avid bike rider, which I knew you'd call in. But I'm sorry, I don't mind a single, maybe even 2 or 3. But come on, the swarm of bees that are bike riders in a lot of these, they have like groups of them who are they're really like have a command of traffic. Like they take over traffic in some areas, and they're like 50 to 100 of them all together.
Okay, there's that. It's like a funeral, in other words.
No, they're all bunched up. If they were single file, I'd have no issue. But they're bunched up. It looks like Tour de France.
Right. I mean, there's reasons, why. If you got a bunch of bicyclists, you got to kind of like, command the road and take this space, and there's no doubt about it. This is us.
Right.
And if, and so biking, okay, to me, I don't see wanting to get together with 30 people. I'm a solo. Everything I do. I'd rather do it myself.
Exactly. There are a lot of guys I know in my neighborhood who they just ride by themselves. Some of them, clearly or not, they don't have the bike rider look, but hey, what the hell? They got the gear, and I'm glad they're out there exercising, but they're by themselves and they're doing their thing. But it's the swarm.
Insurance costs down, yeah. Yeah, and the other thing, as far as the aesthetics, as far as what we got to put up with, from sagging to out of shape men in dresses, I'll suffer the shaved legs on cyclists and those shorts. And I would highly recommend a bike to you. Get yourself a sturdy hybrid.
Okay.
And,
wait a minute. Now, why is it hybrid? Is it like part titanium, part aluminum? Like, what's the hybrid?
Hybrid refers to the type of bicycle. It's not a stump jumper, or it's a little bit of, it's like a cross-training sneaker.
Okay.
You can do everything on it. It's got a fairly fat tire.
Oh.
It'll typically have a shock absorber in the front, but not the back.
So I can sort of off-road and on-road bike ride.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen those.
You don't want to really take it into woods, but they're fine on dirt. Yeah, that's called a hybrid. That's the great bike, and you can, $500 to $1,000, you're in the range. But here's the thing: it's like I've had like my last 5 bikes given to me. Like there's all kinds of bikes. Oh yeah, man. Someone had one, and now they're raising a family. The last bike, 2 bikes that I have, it was hanging in the guy's garage. He just can't bother selling it.
Right.
So he gave it to me, and he was, and I'm still riding it.
Okay,
And
let me ask you the ultimate question about your bike. Do you hang it on the wall, even in the garage?
No, I don't have a garage. I lock it. We got, God bless Middletown, there's these bike racks on Main Street.
Oh, you have a bike rack. Okay. All right. No, I know the guys who, like, in their apartments in New York, that used to be the thing. They'd hang it on the wall.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, like a piece of art. Ugh. Yeah, Seinfeld. Yeah. That's right. Seinfeld did. Never saw him ride a bike, but he always had one hanging on the wall.
And if I have another quick second, quick segue here to Tim. Now, okay, so, people were going nuts, accusing you of, like, giving Tim too much time. You did something with Tim, dude, and it's like you damaged him. He's not the same. Yeah. Do I have another 20 seconds? It reminds me of a Gunsmoke episode where this guy was gunning people down. And he was even a better draw than Marshall Dillon. So Marshall Dillon beat him up with his fists, and then the guy lost his nerve in a gunfight. You ruined Tim, I swear to God.
I may have, and he may be really, really upset today. But
you did it with the truth.
That's all I tried. That's all I tried to do.
That which can be destroyed by the truth should be.
That's right. Thank you, sir. James is in Plymouth. How are we doing, James? Thanks for waiting. James? Jaime?
Sure.
Hey, there he goes. Hey, James.
Hey, buddy. You got some long-winded guys, huh?
I know, man. I tried to get him in. What do you got, buddy?
So I wanted to hear, I heard you talking about, tissues for Tim, which I started laughing about, but there's two Tims. There's one that calls from Canton, and he's got like a Boston accent.
Yes,
and then
I know who he is.
Then there's one that lives south of Cheshire and north of North Haven.
The Tim we're talking about, everybody knows who he is. He is infamous. He is definitely infamous. He should at least have a 5-minute spot on this network. So he can spout off about everything he hates about the host on the show, on this network.
Nails on the chalkboard listening to that guy.
Well, that's why I'm doing, again, I heard about his earlier grievance, if you will, and he always does it on Friday, but never here. He had a grievance on Tom's show, and so I heard about it, and I just went, okay, obviously, we should do something for him. I would hate for those tears to stain his beautiful clothing, so I'm going to provide tissues for him that he can pick up at the Friendly Hands Food Bank for free. And also, we'll be helping charity for people who do need tissue.
If you could brief me on just what his grievance was, real quick, because I was at work, I couldn't hear it, but I know he called the Tom show.
Here's the best way to describe it without getting into it. So on Wednesday we did a show. I called it Whack Job Wednesday because pretty much conspiracy theories are pretty much no more.
I was going to call in about Bigfoot.
Exactly. Oh man, great! I will always love that controversy. I will always love that conspiracy theory. But anyway, it was about that, and he seemed to be upset about someone. I mean, the whole purpose was someone talking about something that is a conspiracy theory. In essence, things that are not believed in norms, right? And everyone sort of expressing what they thought of their conspiracy, and their job was to convince me that their conspiracy had weight, right? That's all. And even he, with all of those caveats, which means saying, everybody thinks you're a whack job. Share your conspiracy on the show and convince us, if not me, that they're real. Even that turned into a complaint. How can it be when I said the objective is to tell me you're what? People called in, Matt in Bristol in particular, said that the inside of the moon is hollow. That's a conspiracy theory. I mean, they're beyond the pale, some of them, but that was the purpose. The purpose was to be beyond the pale. And even then he had an issue.
Oh, yeah. Some people are just, I honest to God, I think this poor guy, I think he probably lives alone, and he likes to call the shows. He likes to feel like he's part of something, but he's not happy unless he's griping about something.
You know what?
That's what I get out of this, man. I kind of feel bad for Tim. Come on. I'm at Rockwell Park picking trash right now in Bristol, Matt. If you're listening, Rockwell Park's a mess, and I walk my dog every day here. Yeah, there's my grievance for today. Rockwell Park is a mess. People need to pick up after themselves.
There you go. All right, perfect. That's a great grievance. I love those types of grievances. They're fantastic. Thank you, James. I appreciate you.
Take care.
You got it. I was reading this just a minute ago. It's from verywellmind.com. Yeah, verywellmind.com. And I thought about it. And again, another public service by Reese on the Radio. And I have to applaud myself. Why? I was looking up these symptoms. And I don't know what they were, but here they are. They dominate conversations. They lack empathy. They take more than they give. They want things done their way. They're quick to blame others and avoid responsibility. They always want to be the center of attention. Now, if you fall into any one of those categories, I would suggest you go to the website verywellmind.com and, perhaps I think I suffer from many of these things. I think I do. In my life I have, and sometimes in my life today I have. I'll tell you this one. I don't do the very quick to blame others. I don't always want to be the center of attention because I'm kind of a recluse in that way. I do want things done my way. I do. I don't take more than I can give. I give a lot. I don't really have a lot. In fact, I'm very, very touchy about that kind of stuff. I used to lack empathy, but I think I have a lot of it today. Hence my wonderful program, Tissues for Tim. I mean, that in and of itself is charitable. Sorry, I apologize. I digress. And I don't like to dominate conversations, unless, of course, the person gets, beyond the pale. I just don't. I don't agree with that. But if you'd like to contribute to our charity, give to the Friendly Hands Food Bank at 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. That's 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. It's called Tissues for Tim. Just put that on the package as you send it. Just say, hey, Tissues for Tim, and then we will check in with Karen Thomas over at the Friendly Hands Food Bank and see if actually anyone will do it. And it's a great charity. You're helping people out, and you're helping out Tim. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing all around. I think we want to give more. By the way, this bicycle thing, Matt in Bristol, I'm really angry with you. This is a thing. I guess because it's Connecticut, a lot of bike riders are here. Michael A. says, you ought to see the electric bikes out here in Burlington. They are fast. The electric, in fact, 2 of my kids have electric bikes, and they swear by them. I will never put my behind on one of those things. I'm not doing a bike again. Just not. It took me a long time to do, the driving thing. It's a long time. Yeah, why don't I play that? Why you're not playing Queen? We might have to. But we're taking your phone calls and your grievances. When we come back, I got to talk about Benjamin Netanyahu's speech at the UN, Alex Wagner, and so much more. Plus your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. Let's take another check on the traffic. I was going to say weather almost. On the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I'm sure it's Friday and everybody's on the road now, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. This traffic report is being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. And if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays from exit 36 down to between 29A and 27. We have an accident there taking out the 2 right lanes, and it's also creating a backup on the Whitehead-Conlin Highway. You should try to transition to 91 southbound there. So a bunch of activity there on the right side. Stay left, of course. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, you're going to see some slow traffic as you move from exit 20 up to 21 in Cromwell. After that, a little slow traffic up by 24 in the Silas Dean Highway in Rocky Hill. Westbound 84 is head up 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley. 291 eastbound's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge. If you're 2 westbound, you're slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge. Traveling 9 northbound into Middletown delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Southbound 91, some slow traffic 19 to 17 in Meriden. 84 eastbound in Southbury, you've got delays from 16 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown delays 10 to 11. If you are traveling southbound in the Wilbur Cross Parkway, delays 61 down to 60. Northbound Parkway delays between 58 and 59. And South 95 New Haven slows 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
W.I. Clark. Call us or find us online at WIClark.com.
W.I. Clark provides superior equipment, parts, and service to the construction and landscape industry across Connecticut. We represent great brands like John Deere, Wirtgen, and Leeboy, and our employees have been the key ingredient behind our success since 1925. Online at WIClark.com.
WTIC.
No, Lori, I said, you may have missed it, but I got to get that Magnolia monologue by Tom Cruise. It's really, really good. But no, it was Kevin Spacey from Swimming with Sharks.
Saturday, variably cloudy, pleasant, that high of 74, a light breeze out of the east-northeast. A nice day Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 70. And Monday, pleasant with a mix of clouds and sun to kick off the week. Warmer, a high up to 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. An arrest has been made in threats to schools and houses of worship. Police in Vernon say it was part of a year-long investigation. A 17-year-old female is charged. Connecticut's minimum wage on the rise effective January 1st of next year. It will increase from $15.69 to $16.35 an hour. Emergency crews are racing to rescue people trapped in flooded homes after Helene roared ashore as a powerful Category 4 hurricane in Florida. Over 30 have now been reported killed in its storm generated a massive storm surge and knocked out power to millions of customers in several states. The police chief of Plymouth is recovering after being involved in a crash today. Chief Karen Krasicki's vehicle was hit from behind by a tractor trailer as she attempted to turn onto Harwinton Avenue from Main Street this morning. She was transported to Bristol Hospital, treated, and then later released. Israeli military says it struck the central headquarters of Hezbollah in Beirut. Series of explosions Friday evening that killed at least 2 and wounded dozens were the most powerful yet seen in the Lebanese capital in the last year. Dame Maggie Smith, who won the Oscar for the 1969 film The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and won new fans in the 21st century as Countess Grantham in Downton Abbey and for her role in the Harry Potter films, has died. Smith was 89, frequently rated the preeminent British female performer of a generation that included Vanessa Redgrave and Dame Judi Dench. On Wall Street, the Dow finished up 137 points today. The Nasdaq was down 70, S&P down 7. Red Sox baseball tonight. Sox playing out the string, the final home games of the season. They will take on Tampa Bay at Fenway. Game time, pregame is set for 7:10. Yanks have won the AL East. They're trying to finish with the best record in the American League, and they start a series with the Pirates. And the Mets, still hoping to get into the postseason, start a series with the Brewers in Milwaukee. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Nobody breaks it down.
You come into the league, you don't have the respect until you earn it.
Like Bill Belichick.
We have not a coach, but the greatest coach of all time.
And nobody levels up like Inside the NFL. Only on the CW. Tonight on the CW.
Inside the NFL has a look ahead to this weekend's biggest games.
And we dive back into some of the things we saw the week before.
Be there for an all-new episode of the show the pros watch.
Time after time for a moment like this.
That's a well-executed play.
Join host Ryan Clark.
That's what the NFL is about.
Chris Long.
Give me a defensive game.
Chad Johnson.
They match up extremely well.
And legendary coach Bill Belichick.
That's what we call real football.
This is going to be a wild ride.
Inside the NFL. Don't miss an all-new episode tonight on the CW.
An all-new episode of Inside the NFL, tonight at 9 on WCCT TV 20, Connecticut's home of the CW.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf.
Oh, man.
Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water, and it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080. Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Got so much stuff to get into, of course, today, the last day of the week, of course. You guys will go and hang out on the weekend and do things like, I don't know, go on a picnic. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Connecticut. I'm pretty sure you're going to take advantage of it. What do you have planned, Roland? What are you going to be doing? Is there any bowling in your future, or are you just going to sit back and watch college football?
Watch my bets and my parlays and relax. Then Sunday catch that red zone. That's the best thing to do on
I'm not
Sunday.
going to lie. That red zone, I'm liking it more. I never liked it in the beginning. For some other reason, I like it more today.
$15 a month, man. You can't beat it.
Yeah, you can't beat it. It actually is kind of fun to watch that. Yeah, I'm probably going to do nothing but work. I'm just going to work in the business. It's just what I'm going to do. I'll sit around and, read the internet and read the news, and I'll be by myself because it'll be quiet. That's what I do. It's a really, really boring life. I wish I had more friends. I'll be honest with you.
You already said you have friends, but you guys don't. You never talk.
I never talk to them.
And then it's bothersome if they hit
do.
you up all the time.
That's right. If they, it's funny because I don't. What's the line that Vince Vaughn says? A friend in need is a pest. I've always loved that line. It's the truest line ever. It's like I've got like online friends, like some guys will hit me up, on a text message here. And Michael A, Michael B will hit me up on a text message now and again, or an instant message on Facebook about a story that they show. Instagram, I'm always hit. Julie B in Boston, Tom O actually sends me a bunch of stuff on Instagram. So those are the people I kind of communicate with, but I don't go out. Like we met a couple when we went to a pizza place and we met a couple there and we had a great time. One guy was from Lebanon. He and his wife are both Lebanese. She's more American than he is, but he just got here about 13 years ago from Lebanon. And we hung out. We had a great time. They were sitting next to us in a restaurant and we talked for hours. We exchanged numbers. I still have not called him.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm gonna. Yeah. I mean, I would have to run into him into the street and be like, oh, yeah, hey. It's like, hey, you guys never called. It was like, hey, you never called me either. They keep telling.
I always say, if I don't call you and you don't call me, it's both our fault. So what are you mad about?
I know, but I don't think I want to go to other people's homes. I just don't. I don't.
Me either.
And then, check out their decor because you know what it is? If you go to their home, I don't want to see their decor. Because if they invite you to their home, they accept you to be reciprocal, and I don't like company.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody in my house. It's my house. And you don't know what crazy stuff goes in my house. Maybe, things hanging off the chandelier. You don't know.
Could be Diddy's party.
Yeah, it could be a Diddy.
You don't know what you're walking into, man.
You're a mess. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center.
He was caught.
And get to Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center, who I know has nothing hanging on his chandeliers. Mark? Oh, I think he's...
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into downtown Hartford right now...
That guy always doing stuff.
Well, with one exception, we do have an accident on the southbound side of I-91, and that is between 29A and 27, so the two right lanes are shut down there, so you want to stay to the left. Also, if you're getting on from the Whitehead-Conlin Highway to 91 South, that is also a problem right now. They pretty much have most of that on-ramp blocked with this accident. So you're back to 36 Park Avenue. Behind that, you are tight again, 19 to 17 down in Meriden on 91 South. 91 northbound delays 21 to 22. After that, good ride Hartford into Windsor. Westbound 84 tight up 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound delays from 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 384 looking good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, you've got delays 16 up to 18. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching 26 in Cheshire. You're sluggish right up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays 9 up to exit 11. South 95 slowing 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Northbound Parkway a little slow, 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Mark Christopher with the traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence.
How do I say uh-oh?
Oh, that shit got to be difficult to be doing stuff for like 4 different stations, signing on and signing off, and then you got to remember which one you're on.
That last for
Crazy.
A local team known for expert installation. Check us out at Cape
Yeah, he got confused right there, though.
He did.
Fence Company.
WTIC weather.
As we head through the evening and overnight, partly cloudy. It'll be mild, the low down to 61. A beautiful early fall weekend ahead for us. Variably cloudy Saturday. It'll be the warmer of the 2 weekend days, the high 74. A bit of a breeze out of the east-northeast Saturday. Sunday, another nice day, sun and clouds. The high of 70, not bad for us, but may feel a little cool in the morning. Then as we head through Monday, pleasant day to kick off the new week. A mix of clouds and sun. It'll be warmer, the high jumping up to 77 Monday. You're going to want your umbrella for Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, cloudy, not as warm. Bit of rain, the high 69. Rain and drizzle Wednesday with the high of 68. Meriden 73, Waterbury 72 right now. Mansfield at 73, and it's 75 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Atlas Roofing Shingles with Scotchgard Protector. Protect your home and avoid those dark stains on your roof caused by algae. Available now from the Peter L. Brown Company. For a free roofing estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
With fall around the corner and everyone back to their busy routines, finding time for dental care can be tough. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester is open 7 days a week with late hours. Get the care you need when it's convenient for you. Call 860-730-6030 or columbiaimplantcenter.com.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Looking for better heating savings and service for your home? Go with Petro. Switch now and get $125 free heating oil or propane. Want to save more on heating costs? Go with Petro to get a new heating system with $0 down and low monthly payments. For expert HVAC tune-ups, repairs, and live 24/7 service, go with your local HVAC pros to stay warm and save all winter. Go to petro.com now or call 1-888-PETRO02 today. That's 1-888-PETRO02. Propane not available in all areas.
If you're fine, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a bank.
Yeah, Tim.
Thank you.
Got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
Oh, there you go, Julie B. I love that song. I know people say, it's like, why do you like that song? I love that song. I love a lot of stuff that Queen did, just not Bohemian Rhapsody. We're back with your airing of grievances this Friday, but I want to get into this. Wendy Sherman is the former Deputy Secretary of State under the Biden administration. She also worked under the Obama administration as well, 75 years of age. And as you can guess from her last name, Wendy Sherman is Jewish. Born in Baltimore. Lived in Philadelphia. She's an East Coast girl. I don't say that subversively. But again, she is Jewish. She's born to Jewish parents. And Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech today at the UN, which we'll get into in a second. But I want you to hear what Wendy Sherman said on MSNBC. And this is important because you go to MSNBC because no one's going to ask you a follow-up question to what you say. Which, of course, what's she there for? To disparage Benjamin Netanyahu. She's a fellow Jew. And she is considered an expert as a Deputy Secretary of State. So listen to her comments talking about Benjamin Netanyahu's speech today.
You know, the UN General Assembly is really a terrific opportunity to try to do something like this because all the leaders are there, all the diplomats are there. You can really run around the rooms and try to move forward. So I'm going to remain hopeful that the administration, at the very least, is caught trying to do this, which they are doing.
By the way, as a Secretary of State or a Deputy Secretary of State, for her to say out loud that the reason for the UN is to negotiate a diplomatic end to what's happening in Gaza and Israel is the dumbest thing I've ever heard someone in Washington say out loud. The UN doesn't do a damn thing but suck money out of the United States. Do you not understand that many of the members of the UN are nothing more than dictators and tyrants? They all get to be there. And if you noticed during that speech, there were so many empty chairs, you thought you were at a Kamala Harris rally, a real one. This man is reviled in the UN. There's no diplomacy there. So please knock it off with that. But I digress.
And I'm a little surprised because the administration's been quite clear that they would not have proceeded without the tacit support of the prime minister in Israel. He seems to be pulling back from that. He's playing, I think, to his own audience, which is to the far right.
So again, to malign Benjamin Netanyahu, to say that he's playing to the far right in his speech, which I'll play in a second, but he's playing to the far right. I've got a question for Wendy Sherman that no one would even bother to ask her. Who's Hamas playing to? Who is Hamas catering to with their rhetoric? If Benjamin Netanyahu is playing to the hard right in his speech, what's Mahmoud Abbas? Who's he playing to? The hard left? The radical Islamic jihad? Who's he playing to? Did anybody ever think to ask? Because that would be important. Because the ceasefire works both ways, dum-dum. The ceasefire works with actually releasing the hostages, dum-dum. But that's not happening either. So I hear a lot of rhetoric about Benjamin Netanyahu, but I don't hear anybody talking about the so-called Palestinian state and Hamas. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu in a little bit of his speech.
And the reason is simple. Because if Hamas stays in power, it will regroup, rearm, and attack Israel again and again and again, as it is vowed to do. So Hamas has got to go. Just imagine. For those who say, well, Hamas has to stay, it has to be part of a post-war Gaza. Imagine in a post-war situation in World War II, imagine allowing the defeated Nazis in 1945 to rebuild Germany. It's inconceivable. It's ridiculous. It didn't happen then. It's not going to happen now. This is why Israel will reject any rule for Hamas in a post-war Gaza. We don't seek to resettle Gaza. What we seek is a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Only then can we ensure that this round of fighting will be the last round of fighting. We are ready to work with regional and other partners to support a local civilian administration in Gaza committed to peaceful coexistence. As for the hostages, I have a message for the Hamas captors. Let them go. Let them go. All of them. Those alive today must be returned alive. And the remains of those whom you brutally killed must be returned to their families. Those families here with us today and others in Israel deserve to have a resting place for their loved ones, a place where they can grieve and remember them.
Look how radical he is. Look how volatile he sounds. He's playing to the hard right, Wendy. Listen to his rhetoric. Oh, my goodness, he may get somebody. He's dangerous. That's what the left likes to say. He's dangerous.
This war, ladies and gentlemen, this war can come to an end now.
Damn right.
All that has to happen is for Hamas to surrender, lay down its arms, and release all the hostages. But if they don't, we will fight until we achieve victory, total victory. There is no substitute for it.
God bless that man. God bless him. I don't want to be on your magazines. I don't want to be person of the year. I don't want to be celebrated in Vogue. I don't care if TMZ wants to know what I had for breakfast and who's my favorite sneaker brand. I don't care. I'm going to kill every one of these sons of guns until the fight is done. I don't care about any of it, and I love them for it. I applaud them, and I appreciate them for it. And I know that there's some people saying, it's like, oh, but it's this and it's that. It's like, okay, fine. I don't care. That's where I stand. I know people try to convince me otherwise, but I don't care. I don't care. We didn't start this fire. That's the way I feel about it. You're not going to come out. You're not going to come to my house and attack my family and then think that I'm supposed to be the person who's supposed to have some diplomacy. Oh, can you guys get along on the block? No. The guy's vowed to eliminate me and my home. And you want me to appease him? I don't think so. Bill is in Southington. How you doing, Bill? You're on Reese on the Radio. Hi, Bill. Okay. We'll go to Mike in Plainville. Hi, Mike.
It kind of reminds me of the general population of Connecticut. Their house gets, if their house gets invaded, they'll say, "Would you like a donut? Would you like a coffee? Please don't hurt us."
Wasn't it Dukakis who said something similar to that? Like if someone invades your home, to just leave the home and let them have at it?
For God's sakes, grow a pair, for crying out loud, No, I'm telling you.
I agree.
Is there anything? Can we get you anything?
Yeah.
Please don't hurt us. Oh, my God. And by the way, I do have a hybrid on my front porch because the town I live in is too dangerous to ride a bike in.
Okay, so wait a minute. So hold on. You have one of these bikes too?
Well, the bike's 20 years old. It's a hybrid. It's a combination mountain bike and a street bike.
Oh, okay.
And I used to ride it a lot. But whoever called in was criticizing these guys dressed up.
50
This
deep.
is any sport. Let them have some fun. What are you criticizing these guys for?
Well,
it's like the guy that goes out and spends $5,000 for a set of golf clubs.
Yeah.
And all the shirts and stuff. Fine, let him go.
Hey, but hold on. Wait a minute, Mike. The guy who spends $5,000 on a set of golf clubs, that guy's on a golf course. What I'm talking about is, and I was probably piggybacking a little bit. I was probably piling on. But I was talking about how if I'm driving down the road and there were like a crap load of guys on these bikes and they're like, you have to drive around them. They don't do single file. They do bunches. It's really, I'll be honest with you, the first time I saw it in my neighborhood, I was like, is there a bike race going on? What is this? I didn't even know how to respond. So there are some people who are a bit overzealous.
Apparently, people haven't been given the safety regulations for riding a bike. I see people in this town drive on a bike at night with dark clothing, dark hat, dark clothing. And I have a beef. I have a grievance.
Go for it.
Okay. We thought cell phones were bad in motor vehicles. Now we have dogs. We have St. Bernards. We have Newfoundlands. This big head is sticking out of the driver's side window.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Well, first of all, I know a guy. I had a customer not too long ago, and he was dropping off a trailer, and his dog was a pit bull who was just running around the car or the SUV, and his head was, it was the size of a watermelon. The dog's head was huge. He was a pit bull, and he's just wagging his mouth. And I don't want to be like resistant, right? I don't want to be like nervous around the dog. But when I'm looking at that dog, the only thing I'm saying to myself is like, that dog wants to eat me. I know, but he's just got him roaming all over the car, and then he's got him rolling all over my lot. And I'm like, I'm nervous about this.
I've got one. I got one more for you.
Go for it.
I worked at Bradley Airport, and I'll give you.
What happened?
Oh, he dropped.
We dropped him. All right, Bill's back in Southington. How you doing, Bill?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hey, Bill, what's up?
Yes, I got cut off. I apologize.
That's okay.
Hey, I wanted to chime in about these electric bikes.
Okay. That's the thing today.
if a person is elderly or they have a disability, by all means, get an electric bike.
Okay.
I've had it with these kids, teenagers, kids that should be exercising, bombing around in these basically low-grade motorcycles. That's what they are.
Oh, that was such a. I remember when that started back in 2004, when it had the little. They look like little Suzuki bikes, but they're like miniature. They look like Power Wheels, but they do about 20 to 30 miles per hour.
Exactly. These kids are out on these electric bikes or out on electric scooters whizzing by.
Yeah.
You're going to see. This is not going to end well.
Yeah, but you know what? This has been a problem for over 20 years now. Because they were in the inner city, every kid was buying one. And I think at the time, if I remember 2004, I saw a kid walking one in East Hartford. And he said, I asked him, how much was it? He said it was only $300. So, of course, that's pretty easy for a kid in the neighborhood to get. I mean, they were getting PS2s for that amount. So those are easy to get. But they were driving them on the street without a helmet. And every day we were seeing a report of like WFSB, which was our partner at the radio station I worked at. They were doing a report every week about these kids or people complaining about the onslaught of seeing them on the road.
That's correct. These kids have got their whole life to be lazy. Don't start now. That's my point. They should be exercising, using the legs, running, whatever, playing sports. Don't be lazy with these things.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you. I hear you. You got it, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, buddy. More airing of grievances, of course, when we return. Don't forget, it is your chance to do something good. Okay? It is your chance to do something good and be a part of it now. It's tissues for Tim. Send some tissue. We're gonna put it up on the website. Send some tissue over to the Friendly Hands Food Bank. It is at 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. Again, that's 50 King Street, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. So you can help people so they can have tissues so that no one, and I mean no one, goes a day without having their tears wiped and cleaned. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Mark, you've got to have some tissue box sitting around that you buy in bulk. You could donate too, right?
No, just baby oil. I don't have any tissues. I'm sorry. Just the. I tried to buy it at Costco and they don't stock it.
Did you hear that? I've got to bring this up. Did you hear Costco responded to Didi's lawyer and
Costco said we don't
sell
baby oil in our U.S. stores. So.
How can you? When you listen to me, your case is so bad that Costco's got to separate himself from you.
I know that's pretty bad. But no, I heard. Now, is this true? I heard that Tim. I heard Tim on with Tom Shattuck earlier. Is he banned from the afternoon show? Or
I don't know. He's not banned from this show.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
No, of course
he
not.
made it sound like he was.
No.
Like, I didn't think so. I'm like, you let everybody on. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. But what's he crying? Is this, were we talking
He
about
was upset about the conspiracy, by Whack Job Wednesday. He was upset about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's always something.
We need facial tissues for Tim to help him get through his anxiety. If you're heading into Hartford right now, on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see slow traffic from exit 36 down to between 29A and 27. There's still an accident down there. They've got everything on the left shoulder now, so all lanes have been reopened there, so that's good news if you're on the southbound side of I-91. Now, if you're northbound 91, that is looking good. Just a little slow between 20 and 22 in Cromwell. After that, you're moving well. Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street up to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing exit 4 to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. Looks like we could have an accident just near the Charter Oak Bridge on 2 West. If you're traveling 291 384, that looks good east of the river. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 91 southbound delays 19 to 17 in Meriden. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing approaching 17 to 18. Westbound 84 tied up 26 in Cheshire into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Newtown delays 9 to 11. And northbound Parkway delays 58 to 59. Southbound Parkway slowing 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. And 95 southbound delays New Haven 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of today, a pleasant afternoon to round out the week with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 76. Tonight, partly cloudy. It remains mild, the low down to 61. Then a gorgeous early fall weekend ahead, variably cloudy Saturday, the high of 74 with a light breeze out of the east-northeast. Nice day Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 70. Then Monday, pleasant and warmer to kick off the new week with a mix of clouds and sun, the high 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 75 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The toll from Hurricane Helene continues to grow. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
31 people are confirmed dead. That number could grow even further. From Florida to North Carolina, the rain has been unrelenting. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster.
Can't stop the rising water, can't stop the rivers, and certainly can't stop the trees from being uprooted when they've had days and days of rain before the storm got here.
Now, 11 of the deaths occurred in Georgia, and there are widespread power outages there as well. Stanford-based AmeriCares is deploying personnel to areas most in need. Its Director of Emergency Response is Mariel Fontaine.
Our team will be trying to connect with the clinics on the ground to determine what their needs are, so that we can be sure that we're sending the correct resources to the correct location.
Vernon police have arrested a 17-year-old female in connection with a series of bomb threats and swatting incidents in town. The arrest was the culmination of a nearly year-long investigation, says Lieutenant Robert Mara. He says the suspect was part of a violent online group, 764.
It targets minors and basically tries to entice them to do things, which sometimes can be illegal. Starts off small and then eventually gets to be a big deal.
Mara says it was a joint operation with other local police agencies, the state police and the FBI. The suspect faces a host of conspiracy charges. Mara says the message to parents is to know what their children are doing online and monitor activity closely. Israeli military conducting another offensive in Beirut, Lebanon, directed at Hezbollah. A series of explosions was aimed at destroying their central headquarters and its leadership. At least 2 people died and dozens more were injured.
The U.S. has been working for a 21-day ceasefire, but I think with this attack on Hezbollah headquarters and the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, it doesn't appear that there's really much of a chance for a ceasefire. Hezbollah has been backed into a corner, and I think we can expect it to retaliate, perhaps with missile attacks further into Israel on cities such as Haifa and Tel Aviv.
That's correspondent Robert Berger in Jerusalem. Connecticut's minimum wage will be going up at the first of the year. Details from WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
Beginning January 1st of next year, Connecticut's minimum wage will increase. Governor Lamont says the wage will jump from the current $15.69 per hour to $16.35 per hour. Lamont signed the legislation in 2019 to increase the minimum wage incrementally and automatically based on the Labor Department's calculation of the Employment Cost Index for the 12-month period ending on June 30th of the preceding year. Governor Lamont says the law will ensure that going forward, the wages of low-income workers can grow with the economy. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
And inflation continued its moderation last month. Here's business reporter Jason Brooks.
The Federal Reserve favored personal consumption expenditures index rose 2.2% from a year earlier, slowing down from 2.5% in July, while the core rate factoring out food and gas prices was slightly stronger, but that was expected given continuing upward price pressure for shelter and insurance. Inflation is nearing the Fed's 2% target, and market odds are now favoring another half-point rate cut at the central bank's November meeting and a quarter-point cut in December, following the jumbo rate cut last week and an updated forecast predicting 2 more quarter-point cuts before the end of the year.
And the Dow finished up 137 points today. The NASDAQ lost 70, and the S&P was down 7 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, this is Dale for North. It seems like everything we hear these days is about political races, and yet there's a far more important race that you run for yourself every day. It's the race to be the best you can be. But if your libido is low, if your workouts aren't productive, if you've got brain fog and you're tired all the time, you may feel like you're losing that race and maybe even that your best days are behind you. But the truth is that they're likely not. Because if you're feeling like this, it's probable you're suffering from low testosterone, a condition that affects a huge percentage of men. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. We've successfully treated thousands of men for the condition, and if you're like most guys, you'll start seeing results in just a few weeks. Better sleep patterns, higher energy, improved mental clarity, more productive workouts, and your libido will likely increase as well. So get back to winning your race by calling us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, here we go. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
The airing of grievances Friday on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Thank you guys for all calling. 1 hour left before we wrap it up and get back here next week. I do hope everybody has a great weekend, even though I give you guys crap about enjoying the weekend. But I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. But I just want to let you know that I am quietly shaming you. While you relax and I work. No, I'm kidding. If you can, this weekend, I'm sure a lot of you got paid today. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Pick up yourself a Reese on the Radio t-shirt. We found a way to lower our prices. I know that people were saying, really? No, we found a supplier that would help us out. Go pick up a shirt. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. We've got a few. They're very limited in scope as far as which ones we have. We got a couple of them coming back. We've got a Reese on the Radio t-shirt that my wife's working on this. She thinks that you guys would like. It's a picture of me when I realized that I was in love with radio. It's a t-shirt that I've worn here on the show. If you've ever gone to ReeseOnTheRadio.com to watch the show live, you will see it. She's got a shirt with me from the 80s. It's a picture of me in the 80s. You probably want to see it, but we'll have that up really, really soon. But if you could, help us out. It's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Go pick up a t-shirt. You only have to get one. We'll get it to you in a couple of weeks, and we'll get it there. Again, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com to get yourself a shirt. There's a Scallywag shirt there that's I'm my favorite. I'm going to be wearing that really, really soon. When we get back, we'll talk about Alex Wagner on MSNBC. Now we get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher and check on the traffic.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. And if you're heading toward Hartford right now, westbound side of 84, you're going to see slow traffic now approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. East of the river doing okay. Westbound 84 a little slow in East Hartford as you move between the 384 on-ramp and exit 57. Now, southbound 91, heavy delays 36 down to exit between 29A and 27. We have an accident on the left shoulder, so that's the heavy delay there. If you're traveling in the northbound side of 91, just a little slowdown now as you move between exit 20 and 21 Middletown into Cromwell. After that, good ride up into Hartford. If you're westbound 84, look out for an accident 2 westbound by the Charter Oak Bridge, so delays behind that. If you are traveling 291 384, that looks good east of the river. 9 northbound delays, Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, delays 17 to 18. Westbound 84 slowing 26 in Cheshire to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Danbury, some slow traffic 8 to 9. Again, 10 to 11 in Newtown. Traveling into New Haven, 95 southbound, slow traffic 46 to 44. Southbound side of the Parkway, delays from 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound Parkway slowing 58 up to exit 59. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Maybe not.
This guy.
Nope.
For the rest of today, it'll be quite pleasant with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 76, and partly cloudy and mild tonight, the low down to 61. A gorgeous early fall weekend ahead. Saturday, variably cloudy, pleasant, that high of 74, a light breeze out of the east-northeast. A nice day Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 70. And Monday, pleasant with a mix of clouds and sun to kick off the week. Warmer, the high up to 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't just live with foot pain. Find the Good Feet store nearest you at goodfeet.com.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom with Eric Hogarth tomorrow morning at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
When faced with a major health problem, you get a second opinion. Your health is important. The same applies to the health of your business, including your IT infrastructure. If your IT breaks, it can break your business. Get a second opinion, a network security assessment to determine the health of your IT infrastructure. Recognized as a top-ranked IT provider, Tab Computer Systems, the ASP of MSPs, can help you determine the true health of your company's technology and what you can do to keep it healthy. With over 40 years of IT service experience, Tab Computer Systems network engineers will objectively assess your IT infrastructure's risks and vulnerabilities. Tab's Eric Semmel will review the report with you and your monthly MSP fees to show you what you may or may not be getting from your current provider. Schedule your assessment today at tabinc.com or call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP. Tab, Technologies Advancing Business, a 100% employee-owned company.
Do you owe $10,000 credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't. This free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
And we're back. Reese on the radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. I know that's Premier, but I feel like it's not Gangstar. I feel like that's J. Rue the Damager. Am I right about that?
Incorrect. It is Gangstar.
It is Gangstar. Okay. I know it's a beat I hate. That's all I know about it.
Hey, now.
I'm sorry. Premier wasn't always, he didn't have, everyone wasn't a hit. Not everyone. That was kind of garbage. Anyway, we're back. News Talk 1080 WTIC. I said I was going to get into Alex Wagner, but the bigger picture of this audio, before I get back to the phone calls, the biggest takeaway from this bit is Alex Wagner, again, is a professional journalist. And you've heard what she's about to say before. And it only illustrates the same thing conservatives have been saying forever. They are in a bubble. And they believe that if they are talking about it, or if the New York Times is writing about it, that is what America is discussing. They don't see themselves as agenda-based. Let me lay this out, especially for people who don't really follow this. You may be new to this format or this medium. So what the New York Times and the Washington Post and USA Today, what they do is they have a newsroom and they set up an idea. These are the things we're going to say are important to the American people. Therefore, injecting a narrative into the subscriber. These things are important. They will talk about them around their water cooler and their social gatherings, right? This will be how we indoctrinate them into the issues that are important. And then you see other people repeating that. Now, what the newsrooms do is that they pick up those newspapers and a producer will take said article and make that the thing that they project on television for people to then say, wow, this is a thing? and then it becomes the thing. There are real people out there in the world who watch the news for traffic and weather, just like they do here at WTIC. They listen to the top of the hour. They listen to, the traffic with Mark Christopher. As we had a caller just recently, I was just checking in to get the traffic, and then I heard you, blah, blah, blah. They don't listen. They've never heard anything outside their bubble. Their news and their traffic. So, and God bless them. So when Alex Wagner gets out of the studio and she talks to real people, the working class, regular schmoes, John Q. Public, and she exchanges ideas with them or has a conversation with them about what's important to you this election, she's immediately mesmerized that the things that they care about aren't the things that she's been inundating her audience with for over 4 years. Case in point, this is her giving a breakdown of her conversation with people in a room, asking them about the topics that she thinks are important, and them telling her otherwise. You've seen the video, but this is more important. It's how she responds to it.
So as much as these undecided voters are unsure about the candidates, however undefined their decision-making process appears to be, you can see what issues are foremost in their minds in this critical swing county. But what is maybe just as interesting is what was not on the minds of those undecided voters. Issues that have received a ton of media attention in this state and in this election. Issues like abortion access and Donald Trump's lawlessness covered exhaustively by the national news media. Those were not the kinds of things these undecided voters were focused on.
Go figure. The things that you have been exhaustive about in the news media, they didn't care about. Go figure. And your surprise? Again, these people really think that they control not just the narrative, but they think they control the people. We're talking about this every day. What do you mean you don't care about it? The only reason why we talk about it is because it's important. Why do you not care? And that bothers them. They have no influence. Their influence is dying. And when you have a bunch of self-important libs not having their message received, much less believed, oh, baby, they don't reflect. They get angry. There wasn't anything about that she didn't take that as an opportunity to say, wow, maybe I need to get outside the studio more. Wow, maybe I need to get outside my bubble. She was just miraculous to her. To the phones we go. Joe's in New Hampshire. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Rev. Have you contacted California psychics to set up a guest appearance to predict the
It's too late in the week, but I did talk about it briefly with Roland. I think it's a great idea. In fact, even Mark Christopher thinks it's a great idea. We're going to work on it.
Well, I would think they'd want to come on because it's like additional advertising that's kind of free, and it's even better than their regular ads.
Sure. I think, yeah.
But they're really laying it on the line because if you say presidential election, senatorial election, Congress, congressional, just for Connecticut.
But what if they get it wrong? Aren't they kind of risking their credibility to do
well,
that?
That's what I mean. You're putting them in a
a bind. I don't want to do that.
It's like 100-to-1 odds. If they win, they'll get all kinds of business.
Oh, that's true. I'm not going to lie. That would be, for them, they would say, wow, imagine if we get it right. That would be a good one, I admit.
But I'll tell you this. Back in January, Coast to Coast with George Norrie.
Sure.
Every January, he has the top psychics of the world on, I think 3 or 4, like every week, for their yearly predictions. Yeah. And he has his name's John Hoke, and he used to be an Art Bell
I remember him
in the 90s.
I remember him.
And I was listening in January, and listen to this. This is what John Hoke said in January. Norrie asked him, what do you see with Biden and Trump and, the election coming up in November? He said, unfortunately, I see neither one of them in play on Election Day. Biden won't be there and Trump won't be there. Well, he's been right about Biden already, and Trump was almost murdered twice.
That's, you know what?
So he's gonna be on.
I don't know whether or not I'm okay with that kind of prediction. See, I don't like when people put that in the atmosphere. That would bother me right off the bat.
Hogue has predicted every presidential election correctly back, I think, when he was in college in 1968. I mean, he has a perfect record. Even people dropping out. I mean, he's a real psychic, and he talks about the Ukraine and what's going to happen there with Putin. He's kind of pro-Putin. He basically says,
is he really?
Well, not that Putin's a good guy, but he said that Ukraine was going to take about 2 or 3 weeks after Putin invaded, and Putin knew he was being proactive. But I don't want to get off on that so much. But he was very accurate, and he's going to be on again, coast to coast, in about 3 weeks.
Okay,
middle of October.
I'll give a shout out to him.
Yeah, and then what's your take? I told you about the suggestion I sent about a rematch on Fox with Kamala Harris and Trump.
Yeah.
If Fox puts it out there that there's going to be a debate on, let's say, I'm just giving this date as a hypothetical, October 15th, and whether or not Harris shows up, the debate's going to go on, because if she doesn't show up, her answers will be provided with, going back 8, 10, 12 years of her own words on the subject, the border, taxes, everything. So if you were in the Harris handlers, if you were one of her handlers, that'd be a dilemma for you. Would you say get on there and so they don't show the tapes of you?
No. I think, first of all, again, I don't think that, and I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, I don't think this is a real campaign. In fact, I'm going to so far as to say it isn't. I don't think that there's any intention, especially, look, as you and I had the discussion at the end of the show yesterday, the bottom line is everything this campaign is doing is wrong. The fact that they're sending a campaign, a candidate out there who doesn't know what she's talking about, and she's, holistic about how she's going to save the economy. She really looks like, one of the dumbest people in politics ever. I mean, she's really, really making Dan Quayle look like a Mensa member.
Well, remember that candidate, when Hillary Clinton ran, and she got like 1 or 2% of the vote. She was the crystal ball lady. She was a Democrat. She was a psychic. She talked like Kamala Harris talks now. She talked a lot like that in riddles, and she was a psychic.
Kamala Harris is, everything about her is an albatross around her neck. Her political leanings, what she said in 2019, everybody knows this. Her campaign knows about it. She can't get from under it. They know that. This is nothing more than putting somebody up so the real campaign in 2028 begins. I promise you that. Let me go to another one, man. I got Fritz and Bert.
Well, you know what? If John Hoke gets on and he says that Kamala will not be there on Election Day, if he comes on coast to coast in a few weeks, he's going to validate you. You're a psychic.
I don't think that's a real campaign. I think she's born to lose. Let's go to Fritz in Berlin. How are you, Fritz?
Hi, Reese. It's nice to talk to you.
Always a pleasure.
Hey, I was calling about bicycles, but then I realized that it's the airing of grievances. And
yes,
is it okay if I can have a grievance with myself?
What did you do?
You might laugh a little bit, but I got stung by a bee.
No way! The beekeeper stung by a bee. Well, what were the chances? What were the odds?
I was itching at work. You got to get like one of those buttons where it sounds like somebody's getting slapped over their head.
Yes, yes.
Said, why did you get stung by a bee? I said, I wasn't wearing my equipment.
Well, I hope you feel better now. You're not like a lot of people who I know. Like, I have some friends who freak out when they see a bee because they're allergic, and like if they get stung, they'll blow up in hives. So you wouldn't even do it you wouldn't be a beekeeper if that were the case. But
I've been terrified of bees forever, but I'm finally getting over it. And I do get blown up, and it itches me for days. I can't.
Do you blow up? Do you blow up in hives, or just where the sting is?
No, just where the sting is, but it'll travel up my whole arm, and it'll look like Popeye for a day or so. But the more I get stung, the less it's happening.
I have to tell you, I have a friend who was working in a warehouse in Virginia, and he got bit by a brown spider. But yeah, and I understand that they're very, very venomous. But anyway, the brown spider fell and it bit him on the hand. And when I saw him, his hand had blown up. I mean, he was like, it was the size of the Hulk. It was like huge. And I looked at him.
Like a Foo Fighters video where his hand gets real big.
Yeah. And he comes to me and he shows me his hand, and I look at him and I go, holy crap. I'm like, what happened to your hand? He goes, I got stung by a brown spider. And I went, oh my goodness. And I'm looking at his hand and I couldn't resist. I looked him right in the face and I went, so you can climb on walls now, right?
So do you have a grievance against the people that like to hang their bicycles up?
No, I don't have a grievance about that. I just know that people do, and it's almost like they hang it up like a work of art. I don't know. That's all.
Can I tell you a short story in like 10 seconds?
Go for it.
About 10, 15 years ago, a radio friend of mine, he was getting really old and he couldn't ride his bicycles anymore. So I traded some equipment with them back and forth, and I got these two really, really old bicycles, but I knew they were kind of high end. One bicycle is really made out of aircraft metal. And it's a hybrid or a mountain bike, so you can switch the wheels and the handlebars back and forth.
Right.
I started cleaning up. I got it on the road. I looked the thing up. I find out it's a $5,000 bicycle.
Ooh.
I cleaned that thing up like it was jewelry. It came with a bicycle stand, a truing stand for the wheels, all the extra accessories. I cleaned it up like it was absolutely brand new, and I put it right in the dead middle of the living room. And I said, I finally got a nice bicycle.
And you didn't sell it. You kept it.
Oh, no, I have it. You can see it in my YouTube
That's
video.
fantastic. That's a good thing, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Great story. Bicycles have been, like, I didn't realize it, but I look at guys who ride bicycles, and I say to myself all the time, when I see them riding bicycles, I'm like, that's kind of a lost thing. But it's not. It looks like Connecticut is knee-deep in bicycle riding.
No, it's a lost thing for fun. It's not a lost thing for people that just like to train and ride bikes for exercise.
Oh, so like people don't ride bikes for fun anymore. They ride them for exercise and like serious bike riding, like cross country. I get it. I know. I would never do it. I don't know. I need to pick up something. My hobby cannot be watching the news. I can't be. Tell Josh in Southington, don't go anywhere. I promise I'll bring him on the opposite side of the break. So, Josh, stick around for me because we don't get you a lot on the air. But, yeah, I don't know. Bike riding is just not my thing.
When I used to bike ride.
You did?
I used to, no, for fun, me and my friends.
Right.
We would ride, we would pick the biggest hill, try to ride down it, and then we would say, okay, one hand, ride down the hill. Okay, no hands, ride down the hill. Okay, a wheelie on a back wheel riding down the hill, and see how many different difficulties we could manage without falling down. So that was the extent of our bike ride. We would ride like from town to town, but it wasn't for like seriousness exercise. It was because we was trying to go play basketball or see our friends or whatever.
The dumbest thing I ever saw with a bicycle was a bunch of friends riding on bicycles with walkie-talkies, and they were talking into their walkie-talkies while they stood about 5 feet away from each other. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. The dumbest. Poor kids. Now they have cell phones. Nobody uses walkie-talkies anymore. I like walkie-talkies. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. If I can get a walkie-talkie now.
CB radio.
Oh, don't get me started. You know, that business is booming.
Breaker 19.
That business is booming. I went to one of those places, those doomsday preppers. I went to one of those places. I said, I was like, how well do you guys do? Like, do you sell a lot of equipment? He goes, man, after 2020, it went nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, they're really, really raking it in.
I used to just say, get on. My father had one in his car. I used to get on it and just say crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And every now and then I'd get a response.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. What else are you going to do when you're 11 years old? Well, if you're coming into Hartford right now, the traffic report being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. And on the southbound side of 91, delays 34 down to 32A and B. That earlier accident between 29A and 27 is clear now. Slowing a little bit again down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Now, if you're traveling on the northbound side of 91, a little tight getting by 25, 26 in Weathersfield. After that, a good ride up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is slowing, approaching exit 57 in East Hartford. Hartford, again, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound, some slow traffic approaching exit 4 up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound Middletown slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound in Waterbury, you've got delays. 17 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 tied up approaching 26 in Cheshire to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Now, if you're traveling on the eastbound side of 84, you've got delays from 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you've got tight traffic now from exit 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound Parkway slowing 59 into the West Rock, and 95 South New Haven tight 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of today, a pleasant afternoon to round out the week with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 76. Tonight, partly cloudy. It remains mild, the low down to 61. Then a gorgeous early fall weekend ahead. Variably cloudy Saturday, the high of 74 with a light breeze out of the east-northeast. Nice day Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds, the high of 70. Then Monday, pleasant and warmer to kick off the new week with a mix of clouds and sun, the high 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, Hartford temperature 74 degrees. I'm John Silva. They're cleaning up and picking up the pieces in Florida and other southeastern states after Hurricane Helene slammed ashore as a Category 4 storm. It has not stopped dumping copious amounts of rain on Georgia, the Carolinas, and the Tennessee Valley. That will continue to be the case in various parts throughout the weekend. Over 30 deaths have been attributed to the storm thus far. The Connecticut National Guard is taking part in the relief efforts in the storm zone. A Chinook helicopter and 5-member crew with the Guard's 169th Aviation Regiment departed from Windsor Locks today en route to North Carolina. And Stanford-based relief agency AmeriCares also is deploying teams to assist in the recovery. An arrest has been made in a number of swatting and threatening incidents. Vernon police say the 17-year-old female was part of a conspiracy to target schools and houses of worship. The year-long investigation was a joint operation between several local police agencies and the FBI. Come January 1st, the state's minimum wage will increase. Wage will go from the current $15.69 an hour to $16.35 an hour to adjust to federal employee cost index and legislation that was passed 5 years ago. Senator Richard Blumenthal wants accountability related to the Boar's Head listeria outbreak that has killed 10 people and hospitalized 59 others. He says criminal charges should be considered. New York City Mayor Eric Adams was in court today to plead not guilty to federal charges and other counts involving criminal activity, including illegal campaign contributions and dealings with other foreign actors. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 137 points today. NASDAQ gained 70 points and the S&P was down 7 points. The baseball situation tonight, it's the last weekend of the regular season. No playoffs for the Red Sox this year, so they'll play out the string against Tampa Bay. 6:10 is the pregame here. Yanks have already clinched the AL East. They open a series with the Pirates tonight, still looking to get the top seed in the American League playoffs. And the Mets still in the hunt for a wild card. They begin a series in Milwaukee against the Brewers. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence, more than just fences.
Cape Cod Fence Company in Canton has been Connecticut's premier fencing contractor since 1956. Quality craftsmanship, products that last for years, and the local team known for expert installation. Check us out at CapeCodFence.com. Cape Cod Fence Company.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra and music director Carolyn Kwan for the opening concert of the HSO season, Prokofiev 5 and Peter, September 27th through the 29th. Gather with friends and family and share in the excitement of musical storytelling with Prokofiev's beloved Peter and the Wolf, with narration by June Archer. We celebrate longtime HSO violinist Yaroslav Liss and Leonid Segal on their milestone years with the orchestra. To reserve your seats today, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. It's just under 25 minutes before we wrap this puppy up and head on home. And for the rest of you to start enjoying your weekend. I got a lot of comments inside the chat room, especially from Fizzlegig, but I missed a bunch here of some people who have written some things. Jason says, come on, Tim brings entertainment to the channel. Look how much he gets mentioned. He's funny and sometimes. Jason, and I couldn't agree with you more. Julie B. in Boston says, please say happy birthday to my son, Nico. He's 21 today. Nico, congratulations. You're an adult now. There's only one thing that you can do at this moment, sir. And that's vote. Vote to make your mama proud. I'm pretty sure your parents raised you right. I'm not worried about you, Nico. Even though, your name suggests, that you might be, one of those made guys, but we expect you to do well. Fizzlegig is in the chat room as well. He's saying, I was talking about Wendy Sherman, the former deputy of the former deputy state, a deputy head of state, Department of State. He said Baltimore has many cities, gangs, and dirt bikes, quads in the streets. He also says that if she is Jewish and in Baltimore, then she lives in Pikesville. I did not know that. I don't know much about the Jewish community in Connecticut. Craig says, everyday Cammy is leaking oil. Donald J. Trump has been solidly at the same numbers or better since 2016. Tyrus is right. Tyrus of Fox News. Election day will be over by 10:30. I tend to agree with you on that one. And Michael A. says about my story about my friend Walter, who actually got bit by the brown recluse. Yeah, I told him, I said, with a spider bite like that, he should be able to climb walls and spin webs. He should. Nobody should have a hand with that big. I mean, it looked like the Hulk. Look, I was like, you should have special powers. You get bitten. If that can happen to your body from a spider bite in real life, you should be able to swing from webs. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. He got robbed.
And Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah. The Spider-Man.
Is that Michael Bublé?
Cool. That is so cool. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, coming into downtown Hartford overall, we are doing pretty well on the roadways now. Southbound 91, you got slow traffic from exit 33 down to 32A and B. And again, another bump down by exit 28. Northbound 91 slows 20 to 21 in Cromwell. After that, good ride, Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge, the 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you got slow traffic now about a half mile before 46th Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 westbounds tight from exit 4 to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound 17 up to exit 18. Westbound 84 slows 26 in Cheshire into the Mixmaster. If you're traveling on the eastbound side of 84, look for delays from 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you're seeing slow traffic now from exit 61 down to 60. Northbound Parkway slowing approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through the evening, it'll be partly cloudy and mild tonight, the low down to 61. Variably cloudy, beautiful early fall weekend ahead. A great weekend to be out and about. The high 75 for us on Saturday. Sunday, a nice day with a mix of sun and clouds. It'll be a little cooler.
Robin,
the high of
that's
70,
actually
but
a
light
pretty good
breeze out of
line.
the east, so a beautiful day. Pleasant Monday with a mix of sun and clouds to kick off the new week. A little warmer, the high moving up to 75. You're going to want to break out the umbrella for Tuesday and Wednesday. It'll be cloudy with a bit of rain Tuesday.
Michael, that was originally what we were going to call it. We were going to say tampons for Tim, but he would, he would lose it if we said that. So that's why we did tissues.
I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts test your battery for free. They can recommend the right Superstart battery for your vehicle. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Todd Director from Connecticut Lighting Centers. In need of door, cabinet, or bath hardware, Connecticut Lighting Centers has you covered. See our amazing selection and let our professional staff help you for all of your decorative hardware needs. Connecticut Lighting Centers with showrooms in Hartford and Southington or online at ctlighting.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
I'm Listening on WTIC News Talk 1080 was sponsored by Amplify.
Nobody breaks it down.
You come into the league, you don't have the respect until you earn it.
Like Bill Belichick.
We have not a coach, but the greatest coach of all time.
And nobody levels up like Inside the NFL.
Only on the CW.
Tonight on the CW.
Inside the NFL has a look ahead to this weekend's biggest games.
And we dive back into some of the things we saw the week before.
Be there for an all-new episode of the show the pros watch.
Time after time for a moment like this.
That's a well-executed play.
Join host Ryan Clark.
That's what the NFL is about.
Chris Long.
Give me a defensive game.
Chad Johnson.
They match up extremely well.
And legendary coach Bill Belichick.
It's what we call real football.
This is going to be a wild ride.
Inside the NFL. Don't miss an all-new episode tonight on the CW.
An all-new episode of Inside the NFL, tonight at 9 on WCCT TV 20, Connecticut's home of the CW.
When was the last time you watched your
1 million.
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. Magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with...
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. Legacybox.com/value.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. That sound means we're almost there. We're at the finishing line, or at least we're approaching it, coming around the bend to the finish line of this week. Another broadcast week of greatness, in my view. I had a blast. Lot of fun that I've had, a lot of phone calls and stuff like that. We'll get to Stephen Waterbury in a second. But stick around.
And Josh.
And Josh, okay. Well, oh, yeah, I didn't see Josh. I apologize. Josh, thanks for waiting. I meant to get to him as well. And Craig's in the car. Okay, so fine. We may have to get to it a little earlier. So let me do this. I'm going to play this. Again, this is back to my point in the beginning of the show. It always comes full circle. Karl Rove talking about Joe Biden's farewell tour. I wouldn't have done it, but Karl Rove, he understands. Not what I am suggesting, but that this is all planned to do exactly what it's supposed to do. Let me have Karl Rove explain.
I got about 30 seconds. How Biden keeps helping Trump. The president plans to annoy voters by touring the nation to tout his record. Give us your 30-second ChatGPT summary on that, Carl.
Why President Biden's going to go out and say, look what a great job I've done? He's underwater. People don't think he did a great job. He's going to suck up the airtime that would otherwise go to Kamala Harris. He's going to give Trump a big, juicy target to hit at, and it's going to remind the American people exactly why they're grateful that he's no longer running. This is the stupid maneuver by the White House. I'm sure Mar-a-Lago is cheering.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. No matter what this guy does, he keeps stepping on Kamala Harris. If she had any momentum, they're purposely stepping on it. That's the whole idea. All of this is a joke. Back to the phones we go. Josh, thank you so much for holding, and I apologize for making you hold so long. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Reese. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
Hey, you don't have to apologize. You kept me on hold long enough for me to finish mowing the lawn. So
that's great. I got to do mine too.
Yeah, no. So I honestly, I have called in to Shattuck. I called in to Feinberg. I've never called in to you, although I've appreciated every one of your appearances. You talked about your T-shirts earlier and about going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. The reason that I called in is directly related to that. I went on my phone on Google and put ReeseOnTheRadio.com in, and I went through hitting more results 3 times, and still your website did not come up.
Oh,
I had a whole bunch of Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, but did you go?
And,
did you go straight to ReeseOnTheRadio.com?
So I put ReeseOnTheRadio.com into the search on Google.
Oh, and you're never going to get it that way. You got to do it on the actual. Yeah, you have to do it actually on the not the search engine.
URL.
Yeah, you got to go to the URL.
Well, yeah, no, there was a whole bunch of things that came up. A lot of them were pro what you're doing, and then as I went through some more results, they were talking about a radical radio show host.
Yes, I've been called worse things, sir. I've been called worse things.
I would believe that. I would believe that. But Reese, I got to say, I truly enjoy every time that you're on the radio and I turn you on. I appreciate your candidness and your preparedness, and you're willing to admit on certain things when you are not knowledgeable, and you don't speak on them when you are not. And I truly appreciate that.
Oh, man, thank you. Much appreciated. I hope that you'll tune in as often as possible and call in a bit more. We'd love to have you.
Reese, you have a good night. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. You too. Steve is in Waterbury. How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm doing well. I want to talk about Biden, Quayle, and Tim really quick.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think Biden should do his farewell tour on his bicycle. I think that would go over very well.
Yes.
And secondly, Dan Quayle was a lot smarter than people give him credit for. The media was really
they were cruel. They were cruel.
Absolutely, and he did make gaffes like they all do.
Sure.
Now, as far as Tim goes, There's a song by Humble Pie that I sent you that's called "Don't Worry, Be Happy." It's not the Bobby Ferguson song or whoever did it, but it's pretty interesting. I think it hit home with him. It's a good theme song for him. But as far as he was part of the Green Party and still is probably.
Sure.
So I think with that tissue, we should send him recycled.
You're right on point. You're right on point. Hey, always improving on an already brilliant idea, but I like it.
It may not even need to be processed. If you just be, you catch my drift.
That's not nice. Now,
Well,
see,
I'm
no, I'm teasing. I listen. He can take a good. He claims he can't take a good ribbing, but you know what? That guy's like a Timex. He takes a licking and he keeps on ticking. He comes right back to the show and he tells everybody, "Oh, I'm banned." I'm like, stop it. He's not. He wants to be banned.
He dishes it out pretty well too.
That's okay. Listen, he wants to be banned. He's never going to get banned. I'm just telling him right. Hey, you know, I'm one of those guys who's like, don't tell me what you want. You won't get it. You won't get it. Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated, man.
Thank you.
You got it. Have a great weekend. Craig's in the car. How we doing, Craig?
You know, without Tim, we're all just in an echo chamber, so appreciate it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So I appreciate
if
it.
Nothing else. He validates our positions, right?
And, well, yeah. I think the purpose of that is for him to do it.
Yes. So, Reese, I think I have figured out what's going on.
Okay.
You know how sometimes in our lives we meet somebody for the first time at a social setting, and we go, you know what, this person's really not my cup of tea. They're kind of loud, kind of brash.
Sure.
Not my speed. And then the more you get to know him, you find out that, wow, you know what, he's kind of a nice guy, and he really cares about other people, and he's not just all about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you become good friends. I have lifetime friends that started that way. Didn't like them or they didn't like me, and now, we're every Friday night we're together. And then there's those other people that you meet, and they seem kind of innocuous,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see myself hanging out with them. And the more you get to know them, the more irritating they become.
Oh, yeah.
The less you want to be around them. And I think that is exactly what's going on with the Trump and Kamala thing. I think the more Trump is around and he's visible and he's on TV and he's taking incoming and he's getting shot at, I think the more people go, you know what, the guy ain't that bad. But Kamala, man, she's really wearing on me. And I think that's exactly why he's everywhere and she wants to be nowhere.
And I think you're 100% right. And again, Kamala Harris, I think it has to do with a personality thing, right? And I'm going to go off the deep end on this one, Craig. So bear with me. Kamala Harris has always been a coattail rider. If you really think about it, I'll never forget. There's a video, we've all seen it, of her with the TV host Montel Williams. Have you seen that video? When I think Montel Williams is at some event and he's got his daughter on one arm and he's got Kamala on the other. And when he's there, someone asks, "Hey, who's the lady that you're with?" And he shouts, "Kamala, this is Kamala." And he introduces her as such. He doesn't say it's his girlfriend, but in essence, it's a coming out party. And then I don't need to get into the salacious nature of her relationship with Willie Brown, but that relationship was, let's be irresponsible on her and Willie Brown's part because it was an affair. But it was utilized, Willie Brown's status, his prestige was used for her to get, a cushy job, one that paid her as much as $90,000. That was then used and parlayed to get her other positions. She grew and grew and grew, and it was always off when Barack Obama came out and he endorsed her for the Senate, right, in California. All of that was based on someone else's coattails that she was able to ride through. No one even had to care about her record. Today, and by the way, when she becomes vice president, she's pretty much handpicked by Joe Biden, who says he's going to pick a woman of color. Now she's on her own.
She's never had the fastest car on the track. She always has
exactly
to
never did.
Else.
Everything was her being ushered through. The velvet ropes were always open for her because she was hanging on to someone else who could get her through the door. And now she's
it's the epitome.
Go ahead. You were saying?
It's the epitome of the imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
Right? She knows she's not that bright. So that's why she gets into the word salads, because she's trying to prove to everybody that she really is smart.
Exactly. So
when
now
she tries to do that, she proves the exact opposite.
Right. So now she's in. Right now, she is at the premier spot where no one can usher her through the door but herself. She has now got to get the bouncer to pull back the velvet rope to allow her in. And the only way she can get him to do it is by communicating with him, showing her importance. Like, in essence, she has got to prove that she is worthy of getting in the door. And she can't do it because every time she ever had to get that leg up, it was ushered by someone else. Someone else's prestige, someone else's power, someone else's gravitas was allowed to let her in. And now she can't break through because she never, in all the time that she became senator and was vice president, she never came into her own. She never established herself as her own person. And that's why that's why this whole campaign has been weak. And everybody knows it.
Well, the good news is when she loses in November, she's out of runway. There's
that's it. It's over. Like I said,
what's she gonna do?
She'll be primaried for dog catcher, Craig. Do you understand that? She's absolutely she can't run another campaign.
She can't do the book tour thing like Hillary did because she was never Secretary of State. She was never the wife of a president. She can't do the Barack Obama thing. That was the first whatever. And president for 8 years, she's got nothing to talk about.
She might have nothing to talk about, but you know what? If I were her, I would do the book thing, but I would get a hefty, and I mean a hefty advance on that book, like maybe $8 million, because she's got to survive somehow. She's got to get a multi-million-dollar book deal when she loses, so at least, because I don't think that she'll probably get on some cushy board. They may even allow her to be a professor at a college and give her a six-figure no-show job. She'll be fine. Don't get me wrong. She's loved and adored by the intelligentsia, even though there's a lack thereof.
Oh, she'll end up at Stanford.
There you go.
No doubt about it.
There you go. Without a doubt. She'll go right back to California, and those establishments will pay her a cushy job. They'll tenure her ahead of schedule, make sure that she's got a career for the rest of her life for a no-show gig. Somebody will make fun of it afterwards. Breitbart will do a story and says, Kamala Harris hasn't taught a class here in a year, and she's getting paid every 2 weeks. That's exactly what will happen. Yeah. But thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Buddy, you had a great week, and we'll catch you on Monday, brother.
You got it, sir. And by the way, just so everybody knows, I know I didn't put the Candace Owens thing up there. I'm going to do it right after the show. The Candace Owens thing, if you haven't checked it out, folks, go check it out. Candace Owens is getting a deep dive into Kamala Harris's background, and she's finding more white people than a Klan rally in Kamala Harris's background. I'm not gonna. It's that bad. It's that bad. So I will post the latest one. I'll post the next two. I'll post a link. In fact, go to my Facebook page. If you go to my Facebook page, I will post on both, on the Reese On The Radio page and on the WAC FM page. I will post a video of the last two that Kamala Harris's genealogy shows that Candace Owens did, and you guys will love it. I promise you. It is so salacious and so crazy. If you haven't seen it yourself, I will post it there. All right, don't forget, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Please purchase a T-shirt. It would warm our hearts that if you could. And if you have a shirt already, if you have the promo shirts that I sent you, take a picture of it and also go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com and share a picture with us. All right, so ReeseOnTheRadio.com for the stupidest thing that I've read today. Pick up a T-shirt. Don't forget, you can catch also the Sunday show, which plays simultaneously when it airs here on WTIC. You can get it commercial-free at ReeseOnTheRadio.com as well. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Get back to work on Monday. I'm Reese on the Radio. He is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, have a wonderful weekend, sir.
You too, Reese. Thank you very much. And if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, you're going to see...
oh, man, the week is over. That's just too bad.
You suck.
Oh man, this hurts my heart so
No, it
much.
doesn't. Not one bit. You're a mess. All right. I will see you on Monday. Ugh.
Yes, sir. Enjoy your weekend.
You enjoy your weekend. Win money, damn it.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers.
Eastbound is slowing about a half mile before 46th Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Looking real good east of the river, 291, 384, 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury into Marlboro. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 southbound slowing at the Aragoni Bridge, 84 east.
Sorry about that, guys. Had to cut off the signal. Roland, great job. You guys be good. Don't forget, again, check out the weekend show on Sunday. And I will post that right now. In fact, I'm going to get behind the computer and I'm going to post the Candace Owens stuff right now. I promised I'd do it all week, but of course I slacked. I'll get that done. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. Be good to yourselves. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here on Monday. Let's hope no crazy news pops off on the weekend. Just let it be quiet until Monday. All right. I'll see you then.